this for just $62.50, originally $125. And the sweet deal will go on sale this Friday morning at 8:30 at wildcatsradio1290.com.
This is Joe Cordell of Cordell & Cordell. Cordell & Cordell is the largest family law firm in the country with over 35 years of helping clients navigate divorce. That does give us certain advantages, for example, in experience and resources. But being big doesn't mean less personal or less local. Our attorneys live and work in your community, and as neighbors, they understand the challenges your families face. If you're a guy facing divorce, remember, Cordell & Cordell, a partner you can count on. Visit CordellCordell.com to schedule your consultation.
KCUB Tucson, a Cumulus media station, your home for the NFL, regular season, playoffs, and Super Bowl. It's Wildcats Radio 1290.
DK on the sports tip. Wildcats Radio 1290.
Now a 2-1. Lined right at first base. It seems a fitting way to end as the Cats have another ball well stung, but right at a perfectly positioned Rebel. And Ole Miss is going to not just having beaten Arizona for the first time, but will advance to the Super Regionals. The Wildcats cannot advance for the first time since 2013. And have a disappointing end to a season in which they won 48 games, but with two opportunities to knock off Ole Miss, come up short in large part because of the long ball.
Yeah, we are in rare air here on this late Monday in May. As you heard Derek Palmer say there, he had the call this past weekend for Arizona softball not playing in the Super Regionals. First time since, first they didn't make the tournament at all 2 years ago in 2023, so they didn't play in the Super Regionals that year. But in a tournament that they made, first time since 2013, Texas A&M on the road, that they lost in the regional round. It does not happen often. It had only once before happened at home. You have to go all the way back to 2004, 21 years ago. That was the year that Mike Candrea was gone with the U.S. women's national team coaching, getting ready for the 2004 Olympics, and Larry Ray had the program, and the Wildcats lost in the regional round here at home, getting knocked out in 4 games. And it was the year after that that was the first year that they officially had what's now termed as the Super Regionals. And Arizona had played in every single one of those except for 2013 and, of course, 2023 when they did not make the NCAA tournament. Over and out at the hands of the Mississippi Rebels this weekend. And you all know I have what I call my baselines. My baselines for all the programs at the University of Arizona, where I think their seasons should end for those seasons to be considered successful seasons. And for Arizona softball, that baseline is Super Regionals. For a long time with this program, forever with this program, that baseline was the Women's College World Series. It's the reason that program has the most national champions of any, most championships, I should say, of any on campus. 8 national championships. That was their baseline for years, was being in the World Series. That ended with 2010. And then it was a long drought. 10 years, I believe? 11 years? 10 years? 11, actually, I think, is COVID. They finally got back to the World Series in 2021. Mike Candrea's last year as the head coach. Went back again in 2022. Caitlin Lowe's first season as the head coach, and maybe you're thinking, okay, Arizona softball is back on track. We're back to potentially being that World Series program every single year. Unfortunately, again, did not make the postseason in 2023 at all. That ended a, 35-year string of making the postseason. That ended 2 years ago. Last year, got back to the postseason, got back to the Super Regionals, got swept at Oklahoma State. And this year, you host as a number 13 national seed. But the SEC, who in this tournament, much like the NCAA men's basketball tournament, had 14 teams qualify for this event. And one of those 14 teams was placed in your regional, and they knock you out essentially in a 3-game series, winning it 2-1. We're going to dive into a whole lot of what happened this weekend. I was not out there Friday night at graduation. Friday night, I was a little crazy on campus, so I sat out Friday night's game. I was thinking, I was saying to myself, if they lose Friday night, then we're in real big trouble. Sat out Friday night's game. But was out there all day Saturday and all day yesterday. So watched a lot of softball. My wife texted me at, I don't know what time it was last night. It was after 9, and she texted me, "Are you tired of watching softball?" I texted her back, "This is the best time of the year, babe. It's the postseason on the diamond. I love this. I love this time of year. These are my sports. Baseball and softball. Baseball, my favorite sport. Softball, the sport I called games for when I first got to town here in 2008. It's the best time of year. No, I'm not tired of watching softball, wife. Let's go." I think we were down at the time. I said, "Let's go. Rally time." Unfortunately, that rally did not happen last night for your Arizona Wildcats. 520-848-1290. 520-848-1290 is the number to get in on the program. You can call us at that number. You can text us at that number. If you were there this weekend, I want to hear from you. We'll get into some of the things that took place, some of the things that happened, some of the situations that did maybe not go right for the Arizona Wildcats. But what did you think from what you saw this weekend at Hillenbrand Stadium? Great crowds again, as always. A lot of energy, as you might expect. But this game is still about pitching. It is still about pitching. And it's a much different game than it was even, again, you look up at the wall, this program has not won a national championship in 18 years. It's a much different game now than it was 18 years ago. Last time Arizona won a national championship, the hitters are so much better. There is so much more power than there was 18 years ago. But you still have to pitch. You got to pitch to win. I mean, there's when it comes to diamond sports, whether it's baseball, whether it's softball, you got to pitch to win. And this is a program that was built on dominant pitching. I mean, heck, one of the best pitchers in the history of this program was sitting in the dugout working for the team that sent you home. Nancy Evans. We'll hear a little bit about that this weekend from the Rebels and their new pitching coach, her first season there. Former pitching coach here years ago. That was right before I got here. She was the pitching coach for Mike Candrea. But this was a program that's been built on pitching. I mean, the names are endless. Evans, Hollowell, Finch. We could go on and on. And Arizona, in the 17 years that I've been here now, just has not had the pitching that it takes to go deep into this tournament. And we can sit here and ask the questions why. Why can't we get the pitching? We started this year talking about 8 pitchers, which, under our breath, we kind of chuckled. 8 pitchers. Wow, that's different. If you've got 8, does that mean you really don't have 1 or 2? But you got to have pitching. You got to have dominant pitching. And Ole Miss, don't get me wrong, Ole Miss does not have dominant pitching. I mean, their pitching might be about as even. I think both those teams probably had even pitching this weekend. But this is also not the same offensive team that we've seen for a lot of years here in Arizona. They've got some young ladies who can hit the ball out of the ballpark. They don't have nearly as many as they used to. And that's a large part of this as well.
If you're not putting up ones and zeros, DK, from the mound, you also need timely hitting. So you're talking home runs, power, and obviously Arizona's been known for that, along with their pitching as well. But if you had to pick one reason why they're not moving on, it might be leaving women on base. Those big, timely 2-out hits, right?
They left a lot of those, that's for sure.
That's what moves you forward. So, yeah, I mean, let's see, 13 College World Series appearances this century. And 2007 is the last title. I mean, injuries, I think, have been a long story for the pitching, especially at the top in recent years. I just think that the popularity, DK, of the sport. I mean, look at the schools who've been involved at the national level in the last 10 years. It's a lot of names. We all know Oklahoma's 4-time champion, but how many other teams in the last 20 years have gotten there first? There's a whole bunch of competition, a whole bunch of programs right now vying for those high school. Back in the 90s, and Candrea was picking from the 20 pitchers calling him that wanted to come here, right? I don't think those days are long gone. There's a lot of athletic programs out there who put a lot of energy and support into their female sports on campus, and it shows because it's not just the SEC. A lot of conferences, a lot of schools are really putting so much time and effort and money into softball, and
we'll talk about that today as well.
UCLA and Arizona's days of winning every other title back and forth, that's long gone.
Texas Tech, we've said it all year, rolled out an NIL deal of $1 million to get the pitcher of the year in the Big 12. They're in the Sweet 16, or the Super Regionals, which is the Sweet 16. Ole Miss, the most shocking thing, the most shocking thing that I saw this weekend probably wasn't anything that happened on the field this past weekend. The most shocking thing I saw this weekend was after Game 3 of the Super Regional, or the Regional, which was the early game Saturday, in which Arizona lost to Ole Miss 10-8. I'm walking down over to the Giddings building for the post game, and I see this big bus roll around the corner, emblazoned with the logo of Ole Miss. And I'm saying to myself, wait a minute. They could not possibly have rode a bus out here to this regional. I mean, heck, they're an SEC school. They got more money than God has. They couldn't possibly have taken a bus out here to this regional. So, of course, I had to ask about that in the post-game press conference. Let's hear from head coach Jamie Traxel on how their bus with this huge Ole Miss across the side ended up out here in Tucson.
Pretty grateful. We have an incredible administration. So we got to deadhead our bus. Mr. Terry is our bus driver, so he pretty much goes where we go. And Ole Miss had us take 2 30-passenger charters out here, just so that our whole staff, including managers and support staff, can make it out here together instead of splitting up. So we had a couple of charters got in here, but our bus actually traveled in front of us. So Mr. Terry, our bus driver, who keeps us safe, picked us up when we landed. So we're very grateful. We have an incredible administration. They're invested in softball. They respect women's sports at Ole Miss, and they're investing in softball there, and pretty proud. And obviously when you work for people that are investing in you, you want to make them proud too. So I was happy Keith Carter was able to be here today with a couple other people, and Shannon Singletary, my boss, direct supervisor. So it's fun that we could share this moment with them.
So we had this conversation last week with PJ Brown and what it takes to invest in women's sports. So you just heard their head coach say they sent 2 30-person charter planes out here to this regional, carrying their team, staffers, administrators, and they sent their own bus so that it would be waiting for them on this side to pick them up at Tucson International Airport and drive them all around the area for this regional. That is investment, people. That is investment in women's athletics. They sent their bus out here to pick them up and take them around.
Yeah, they don't have a $300+ million deficit, right?
They do not.
1,476 miles across Texas. I hope that bus driver had some good music.
I hope Mr. Terry. Did anybody ride with Mr. Terry?
A couple good podcasts or something. I mean, that's a 21-hour plus drive. So
they sent their bus, people. 520-848-1290. 520-848-1290 is the number to get in on the program. This is the competition level right now. This is why Arizona, and again, them not getting to the super regional is not only does that mean that they did not reach my goal, but that might keep Arizona out of the top 50 now in the Directors Cup, because you need those super regional points. That's like an extra 40 points that you depend on every year. Now you're not getting that for the Directors Cup. This program might not finish in the top 50. They might not finish in the top 50, this department, in the Directors Cup. This is what we're competing with now. This is what you're competing against. And I think we all need to kind of be realistic about who we are right now in the landscape of national college sports and where we stand right now in the landscape of national college sports. All right, we'll get into what happened on the field as well. Lot there, too. I've got a question of the game that directly ties to a situation that happened in the final. DK on the Sports Tip. Here's Cricket getting you home every 20 minutes on the fives with your traffic and your weather.
Nation Honda and BMW of Tucson Traffic Center. This is Wildcats Radio 1290 traffic and weather together. Dodge in Alvernon and Dodge Boulevard. That was a collision reported. Serious collision occurred earlier on Country Club South of Broadway. Travel still blocked. Tanque Verde Loop Road south of Tanque Verde. That was a structure fire. Mission and Silver Lake, that was a mobile home fire. And 61, the overnight low, 94 tomorrow, 98 Wednesday, 100 by Thursday, and 88 now. I'm Cricket with your Wildcats Radio, 1290 traffic and weather together.
This report is sponsored by Arizona Lottery.
When you play the Arizona Lottery, there's always a chance you'll win big. But there's also a guarantee that you'll be giving back to the community. There's joy in it all. Love the play with scratchers, draw games, and more from the Arizona Lottery.
This is Joe Cordell of Cordell & Cordell. Cordell & Cordell is the largest family law firm in the country, with over 35 years of helping clients navigate divorce. That does give us certain advantages, for example, in focus and resources. But being big doesn't mean less personal or less local. Our attorneys live and work in your community, and as neighbors, they understand the challenges your families face. If you're a guy facing divorce, remember, Cordell & Cordell, a partner you can count on. Visit CordellCordell.com to schedule your consultation.
Out here, you'll find a community of hardworking creators with loyal followers, along with proud moments worth sharing. And farm to table, well, that's just supper. And whether it's a raised garden bed, acres of land, or something for your animals, we've got all the supplies and are happy to share a little know-how.
Welcome to Tractor Supply, into life out here.
The jungle has moved afternoon, so grab your best Tucson tuxedo and join us on the Jim Rome Show weekdays from noon till 3 p.m. right here on the flagship home of your Arizona Wildcats, Wildcats Radio 1290.
Hello, Tucson. Alex Medina here, owner of Oral Ford. We have great news. Ford Motor Company is extending employee pricing through May, but I'm going beyond and selling all your favorite Fords for $1,500 under Ford employee pricing. Oral Ford is striving to be your #1 Ford store in Tucson with no ridiculous dealer add-ons, and you always save 2% in taxes. Plus, $1,500 better than Ford employee pricing, exclusively at Oral Ford. Drive a little, save a lot.
Burgers sound great. Let's find a spot nearby. Wow, nothing? Oh well. Everybody okay with pizza instead?
Can she seriously not see us?
No, she can't. Time to get a boost. Get found and get on the map. Learn more at cumulusboost.com.
Family fun for everyone. Unlock your artistic genius at This and That Creative Studio, a space for incredible experiences where kids experiment with mad science, whip up wacky spin art and silly slime, stuff a plushie, string bubblegum beads, or glow crazy in the paint splat pad. Adults let their creative juices flow with a sip and sew or a sip and choose your own craft session, birthday parties, summer camps, and so much more. Check out their full list of activities and events at thisandthatcreativestudio.com or call 849-7770. That's 849-7770 or thisandthatcreativestudio.com.
And this Friday, we've got a sweet deal for you from This and That Creative Studio. You could get a $50 gift certificate for just $25. And this sweet deal will go on sale this Friday morning at 8:30 at wildcatsradio1290.com.
This is Joe Cordell of Cordell & Cordell. Serving in the military requires great sacrifices, not just for one's country, but also for one's family. Not surprisingly, divorce for soldiers is especially difficult, and it raises a number of challenges that are peculiar to military divorce, things such as deployments, relocation, retirement benefits. These issues can be complicated, and the lawyer you choose needs to be equipped to handle them. So if you're a soldier facing such challenges, go to CordellCordell.com.
Hey, it's David Kelly, DK on the Sports Tip. Don't forget to download the Wildcats Radio 1290 app. It slaps. We've got full coverage of the Wildcats, the Suns, the Cardinals, the Diamondbacks, Pima College. Download the Wildcats Radio 1290 app today.
Get your backyard summer ready with a custom pool from First Choice Pools. A backyard oasis built around you. First Choice is a full-service builder of beautiful in-ground pools and backyard designs for years of staycations. If you want to dive in this summer, now is the time to visit TucsonPoolBuilder.com. First Choice Pools for installs, renovation, remodeling, and repair. Get started today at TucsonPoolBuilders.com. Ask about our 60-day pool. To be summer ready, First Choice is the only choice.
DK on the Sports Tip. Wildcats Radio 1290.
And Tony delivers. Smalley grounds it up the middle, and it's backhanded by Caulfield. He'll toss to Mason White at second for the force play. That's the inning, that's the ball game, and that is the series as the Wildcats win 2 out of 3 here in Houston. And thanks to a victory earlier from Oklahoma State, Arizona assured of a top 4 finish and a top 4 seed at the Big 12 tournament in Arlington.
How about that for Arizona baseball this past weekend? The final tally on the regular season will read 36-18. 18 more wins and losses for the University of Arizona. They finished 18-12 in their first season in the Big 12. They get into the top 4 after things did not look good to start that series. They got beat up 13-4 on Thursday night by the Houston Cougars, but able to rally back and get the final 2 wins on Friday and Saturday. They got a whole lot of help. This past weekend. And so they are off now to the Big 12 tournament, which is going to be this week in Houston, Texas, where there will be games that at least West Coast time will be starting at 7 in the morning.
Yeah, what's up with that?
Thank goodness we don't have extended pregame shows for that, right?
Don't they have multiple fields?
We'd be starting at 3 a.m.
Can't they do it like spring training, shotgun style, where there's like multiple games going on?
Man, I don't know. I have no idea what's going on with that. But also some interesting news today. The next year, the Big 12 baseball tournament is coming to Arizona. Not Tucson, Arizona, but Surprise, home of the Texas Rangers and the who else plays there? It's the Rangers and the Royals, I believe. The Kansas City Royals play in Surprise. So the tournament will be here in Arizona next year. So at least these early games will be 9 a.m. versus 7 a.m. BYU and Arizona State will play at 9 a.m. on Wednesday. That's the 12-5 game. That will lead into Arizona. So we could get a rematch with the Sun Devils in the opener on Thursday. Texas Tech, the number 9 seed, plays Cincinnati on Wednesday. That'll be the second game. Third game, number 10 Baylor and number 7 Oklahoma State. And then Houston against Kansas State. So Utah, unfortunately, ended up not getting in to this party because only 12 of the 14 teams are able to participate in this event.
They tried hard, though, DK. I mean, the Utes came into Tucson 1-11 on the road in the conference.
Yeah.
And they won a series. You know how many series Arizona lost in conference this year? 2.
2, yeah.
And they were 5 out of 6 losses before those 2 big wins at Houston to end the season. They really needed those 2 big wins Friday and Saturday versus the Cougars.
Derek Palmer is going to join us a little bit later. We'll talk some Arizona softball with him as well. So we will have Arizona baseball for you on Thursday morning, bright and early, 7 o'clock, 7:05 first pitch. Coverage will begin at 6:50. Morning Drive Wildcats for you at 6:50 a.m. Arizona versus either Arizona State and BYU. If the Wildcats advance to the semifinals, a little bit more normal day on Friday. That game would be played at 2 o'clock. And so if there is a game on Friday, we will not do a show that day here with us, especially leading into the holiday weekend, the weekend off. We celebrate all of our folks that died in service of our country, Memorial Day. So we will not have a show Friday if there is no baseball game. And then Saturday, if there is a baseball game. And then Saturday would be a 4 o'clock, 4:05 first pitch on Saturday in the late afternoon if the Wildcats can get to the Big 12 championship game. West Virginia is the number 1 seed. Kansas is 2. TCU is 3. So Arizona potentially would face West Virginia in the semifinals, a West Virginia team they beat early in the year 2 out of 3. So that would be an interesting matchup to see how they hook up with West Virginia this time around. 520-848-1290 is the number to get in on the program. 520-848-1290. Let's dive into what happened at Hillenbrand Stadium on this past weekend. NCAA softball regional. 4 teams arrived here in Tucson. Ole Miss is the number 2 seed. Grand Canyon is the number 3 seed. Santa Clara making their first ever appearance in the NCAA tournament out of the West Coast Conference as the number 4 seed. They would face Arizona in the opener on Friday afternoon, and things got off to a really good start for the Arizona. Well, actually, things got off to a great start for Santa Clara because they took an early 1-0 lead in that game on a solo home run in the first inning of the contest, but the Wildcats would steadily start to get those runs back. Devin Netz drove in a run in the bottom of the first to tie the game. Arizona would go up 6-1 after 3 innings of that game. It was 6-5, however, in the 4th inning. Santa Clara was not going away. They were battling. It was 6-5 in the 4th when Kaya Altmaier came up with 2 on.
First pitch to her is swung on and sent toward left center field. It's going to catch the gap. Tagalog's already being waved around. Now the ball takes a hard carom off of the wall. Stewart's going to run through the stop sign, but the throw is high up to first baseline, allowing Altmaier to take third.
Kyle Meyer 2-run double gave Arizona an 8-5 lead. They would make this a run rule contest in the 5th with Sydney Stewart up and the bases loaded.
Bases are full for Stewart as she represents the potential winning run. The 0-1. Swung on and hit high and deep to right field, and it's gone.
Sydney Stewart ending that game 13-5. Now keep that in mind. Sydney Stewart hit a grand slam in the opener on an 0-1 pitch to end that game. She would come up later in this weekend in a similar situation. So it was the Wildcats winning the opener. Mississippi would knock off Grand Canyon to set up a winner's bracket game on Saturday between the Wildcats and the Rebels. It would be on the hill for game number 2. Devin Netz, Big 12 Player of the Year, the leading pitcher on this club. And Devin was in trouble right from the get-go. This was an interesting game. Well, I'll say it was an interesting first inning because Arizona's at home. They're the home team. They looked like the road team in the first inning of this game. Errors on the first 2 batters by Arizona. Throwing errors. Devin Netz threw the ball away. Then they had another play where they threw the ball away. Then they had a hit to center field, and the center fielder threw the ball away. I mean, they were throwing the ball all over Hillenbrand Stadium in the first inning. And then Percy Lamos came up with 2 on.
Now his runners are at second and third. Now this is swung on and sent deep to right field. Altmaier's back, but she's just taking a look as it's gone. And it's all Rebels here in the first inning after a series of Arizona miscues.
Yeah. So Ole Miss, they made a habit of that this weekend, at least in the 2 games they won, jumping on Devin Netz in the first inning. 4-0, the Rebels were on top. Now, Arizona got some of those runs back in the bottom of the first. Reagan Shockey drove in a run to make it 4-1, and then Devin Netz would try to help herself out.
As Lopez deals a 2-0 that swung on and hit high and deep to left center field. It's going to stay in the park. Is crashing against the wall. Malvin looks as if she's hauled it in, but she's still down. Now Shockey's going to tag up. She has taken a run towards second, but now the umpires are saying that the play is dead. Still no sign about whether or not the ball has been caught. It doesn't look like she has a ball in her glove, so now Netz is being told to continue her trip. The Wildcats have come out of the dugout.
J-Dub, I don't know, did you see that play? It reminded me of the play that Caitlin Lowe is famous for, where she ran into the wall at Hillenbrand and broke her nose.
Right, yeah.
Very similar situation, and nobody knew if the girl had caught the ball. I mean, from where I was high. Not high, but I was up high.
Sitting elevated in the stadium.
Exactly. For that. And it looked to me like the ball was over the wall. But you could not immediately tell because she was, the girl, Malvin, was flat on the ground. But it reminded me very much of that Caitlin Lowe
Maybe
play.
those balls just aren't bright enough.
Yeah, exactly. So it was ruled a home run, and all of a sudden we've got a 4-3 ball game. But Ole Miss kept coming. Devin Netz would give up another home run in the second. It was back and forth. Kyle Altmaier had an RBI double. It was a 5-4 game. Wildcats would tie it. Devin Netz would walk, and a wild pitch allowed Dakota Kennedy to score. Wildcats would take the lead at one point in this game, 6-5. They would go up 7-5. Kyle Altmaier again drove in a run. Kyle Altmaier, again, she's going to be one of the faces of this team moving forward, playing right field. And then we got to the 5th inning, and it looked at that point like Devin was kind of starting to get into a little bit of a roll there. But she put 2 on, and Christian Conrad, the pitching coach, and Caitlin Lowe decided to go to the bullpen. They would go get Saya Swain to face pinch hitter Taylor Roman.
Tying run is at third. The go-ahead run is at second. but Swain is one strike away from stranding them. Find the edge of your seat. Corner infielders are roughly even with the bag as Swain readies a 1-2 pitch. Swung on and lifted to left. Kennedy is back at the wall, and it's gone.
Tyler Roman, a pinch hit 3-run home run off Sia Swain, and that would flip the game back in Ole Miss's favor after being down 6-7. All of a sudden, they were up 9-7 in the game. Now, the Wildcats had another shot in the bottom of the 6th of this game. They would load the bases. Emily Shep would step to the plate trying to tie or put Arizona in front.
Tying run is in scoring position. The Wildcats 4 for 14 today with runners on, 2 for 8 in scoring position. As she swings at that one, sends it toward left. If it stays fair, it's trouble, and it will fall just inside the left field line. 1 run is in, 2 runs are in. The throw is short hopped at third. A bases clearing double for Shep, and the Wildcats are right back in front, 10-9. Wait a minute, there is all sorts of fury being expressed by Arizona coaches.
Fury, and I don't know that I've seen Caitlin Lowe as upset as she was when she came out of that dugout. Fury because the ball was ruled foul. A foul ball just to the outside of the line. And on television, if you saw it, it was indeed a foul ball. And so the 3-run double that looked like it was going to put Arizona into the lead instead put everybody back on their bases, and Emily Shep would foul out to end that threat, and Ole Miss would hold on to win the game by a score of 10-8. Afterward, Caitlin Lowe on what happened on that particular play.
Caitlin, David Kelly, Wildcats Radio 1290. What did they tell you on the foul ball? What were you arguing from your standpoint?
I thought it was fair. That's all.
Caitlin, just to double back on the foul ball, we did get a good replay of it where it was really like an inch foul. Did you get that word from whoever looks at replays for you? And was that a challengeable play if you wanted to challenge it?
No, I didn't get it. That would be against the rules. And not a challengeable play unless they call it fair, and then it ends up being foul. So you can challenge it the opposite way. You can't place runners there.
So if the ball is fair, you can challenge if you think it's foul, and they can change it. But if the ball is foul, you can't challenge that and maybe get a fair call.
I want to know why there's rules against skippers being able to see plays, DK.
Yeah, I didn't
like,
really
that doesn't
understand
make
what
any
she said
sense
by that.
to me. That
Yeah.
isn't, like, there should be, I mean, it's 2025. There should be the availability. She's busy. Like, she's very busy doing lots of things, but somebody on the staff having the ability to see a live replay, because these are on national television, right?
Yeah.
Having the ability to see that live replay and then suggest, in the case of, let's say that was a fair ball that they maybe wanted to challenge, wouldn't you want to be able to see it before you made that decision? You're going to go on your gut instinct and what you saw in live action? It's 2025. I mean, I don't know what rule that is, but that's a bad rule.
I mean, it's a huge moment in that game. You hate to think, because, again, you went from being down 9-7 to you thought being up 10-9 to being down 9-7 again and losing 10-8. You'd hate to think that an inch difference is one of the reasons why you're not playing next weekend. An inch difference. If that ball's fair, who knows? You get the lead, you go to the next inning, you close it out in the 7th. Now, Ole Miss did hit a home run in the 7th, so there's that part of it. But the feeling would have been different going into that 7th inning. Not like the whole all the air had been sucked out of Hillenbrand Stadium. All right, we're going to talk more about this with Derek Palmer. He called the games this weekend. We'll get Derek's thoughts on some of the things that happened this weekend. DK on the Sports Tip. Want to hear from you as well. If you were at Hillenbrand Stadium this weekend, 520-848-1290. What were your thoughts? What did you see? What did you like? What didn't you like? What do you think this program needs to get back to being a consistent World Series program? Is it just pitching or is it more than that? 520-848-1290. Cricket getting you home every 20 minutes on the fives with your traffic and your weather.
From the Auto Nation Honda and BMW of Tucson Traffic Center, it's Wildcats Radio, 1290 traffic and weather together. Wetmore and Flowing Wells in Wetmore, collision reported. Some slowing westbound Broadway at Country Club, and also some busy traffic at Alvernon and 5th Street due to road work. 61 the overnight low, 94 tomorrow, 98 Wednesday, 100 by Thursday, 88 now. I'm Cricket with your Wildcats Radio, 1290 traffic and weather together.
This report is sponsored by Arizona Lottery.
When you play the Arizona Lottery, there's always a chance you'll win big, but there's also a guarantee that you'll be giving back to the community. There's joy in it all. Love the play with scratchers, draw games, and more from the Arizona Lottery.
Arizona baseball is in Dallas for the Big 12 tournament.
Arizona assured of a top 4 finish and a top 4 seed.
It's Morning Drive with the Wildcats on Thursday, beginning at 6:50 a.m. right here on Wildcats Radio, 1290.
Robbie Ray is rolling. I'm Joe Ostrowski. Robbie Ray is rolling. I'm Joe Ostrowski here to help you beat the books with the BetMGM Network. San Francisco is looking to go a perfect 10-0 in race starts this season. Taking the Giants as a slight favorite over the Royals tonight, San Francisco suddenly just one game back of the Dodgers. I'm Joe Ostrowski from the BetMGM Network. Bet smarter and beat the books. Download the BetMGM app today. Please gamble responsibly.
This is the story of the one. As a safety manager at a manufacturing plant, he does everything he can to keep his coworkers safe. From finding ways to reduce risks to keeping safety supplies in stock. And for that, he relies on Grainger. Grainger offers a broad range of quality products and next-day delivery, so he can always play it safe. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Find what you love what you find. A Total Wine and More. There's so much waiting for you. Spirits and beer, thousands of wines. Guides in the know and prices so low. It just might blow your mind. You're gonna find what you love and love what you find.
With curbside pickup and delivery available, you'll always find what you love, only at Total Wine & More.
Drink responsibly, B21.
Everyone in southern Arizona knows where to go for a truck. O'Reilly Chevrolet. And right now, that's what I call savings. Get behind the wheel with the 2024 Colorado Motor Trend's Truck of the Year with up to $1,500 off MSRP. Power, style, and savings that just can't be beat. See us on Broadway next to Park Place Mall. Call 747-8000 or check us out at O'Reilly.com. Test drive your new truck today at O'Reilly Chevrolet. Together, let's drive. With approved credit. See dealer for details.
It's the $10,000 quiz show. Okay, contestants, these are things that save you money. Ready? Here we go. It's Tucson's only place to save up to 40% on all your favorite tobacco products.
Tobacco Barn.
You pay no city or state sales tax because they're on
the Indian Reservation.
And save up to another $3 off with a coupon at
TobaccoBarnTucson.com.
Excellent. Now for the big savings. At Tobacco Barn, you'll save up to
40% off.
And because they're on the reservation, you pay no
city or state sales tax.
And at TobaccoBarnTucson.com, you get
a coupon up to $3 off.
What you are if you waste your money shopping somewhere else.
Crazy?
Nuts.
Stupid?
A few tacos short of a combo plate?
Whoa! Tobacco Barn, Tucson's most watched savings show. Nogales Highway just south of Valencia. Check your local listings or TobaccoBarnTucson.com.
Progressive knows if you have to choose between everyday life and your boat, boat wins.
What are you going to do? Take the boat out for a spin or go mail something?
Boat wins!
Are we cleaning the patio or taking the boat out fishing?
Boat wins!
Are we skipping that eye exam to go sailing?
Boat wins!
Rescheduling eye exams can be a nightmare.
All right, fine. Eye exam, then boat.
Yeah! With Progressive, you can bundle your boat with your home or auto and save with a discount and spend more time enjoying those savings on your boat. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, affiliates, and other insurers. Not available in all states and situations.
Sometimes I struggle to get to sleep. My body stopped for the day, but my mind is still running. So I take ZzzQuil.
ZzzQuil, the world's #1 sleep aid brand, has a range of non-habit-forming products to fit you and your family's needs. Invest in a great night's sleep for the best you tomorrow.
I'm awake and ready to take on anything.
Better days start with ZzzQuil nights. Explore our products at ZzzQuil.com. Use as directed. Keep out of reach of children.
This is Andrew Bogusch with a Sports Minute. What has happened to the Baltimore Orioles after back-to-back playoff appearances? Stocked with young talent, they are 15-30 and had to fire manager Brandon Hyde over the weekend. The front office took heat for not paying for pitching this offseason, and now the team has the worst ERA in the AL. They are the biggest disappointment in the game, and there's limited optimism about a turnaround. I'm Andrew Bogusch.
So, your small business is outgrowing your garage. You could go online, find a space, and get catfished. Or you could work with an agent who's a realtor, here to guide and help protect you from the surprises you didn't see coming. Realtors are members of the National Association of Realtors. Right by you.
Everyone has a fave Wendy's Frosty flavor. And when you're choosing from chocolate or vanilla, it's not that hard. But now, there's all new Frosty Swirls and Frosty Fusions. So try picking your fave from... Oreo Brownie Fusion, Pop-Tarts Strawberry Fusion, Strawberry Swirl, Brownie Batter Swirl, Caramel Swirl, and Caramel Crunch Fusion. Not so easy now, huh? For a fresh way to Frosty, gotta be Wendy's.
At participating U.S. Wendy's, Oreo is a trademark of Mondelez International Group. Pop-Tarts is a trademark of Kellogg North America Co., LLC, used with permission.
Get 5 quarts of Syntec Full Synthetic and a MicroGuard Select Oil Filter for just $32.99 at O'Reilly Auto Parts. In-store only, limit supply.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
DK on the Sports Tip. Wildcats Radio 1290.
520-848-1290, 520-848-1290 is the number to get in on the program. You can call us at that number. You can text us at that number. Full show today, full show tomorrow, and Wednesday and Thursday, and then we'll see Friday, depending on if the Wildcat baseball team wins on Thursday and gets to Friday. Then we might not have a show on Friday. But we'll talk some Arizona baseball with you all week to get you ready for the Big 12 Tournament Championships, which will be down in Arlington, Texas, on the Dallas side as well. 520-848-1290, 520-848-1290 is the number to get in on the program. So Arizona softball loses on Saturday to Ole Miss, which means they are relegated to the elimination bracket and have to sit at Hillenbrand. So we had to sit there all day because that game was slow. I mean, that first game was slow. And so they're already like an hour behind when they started the second game, which was the losers of the first day, and that was Santa Clara and Grand Canyon. So we sat through that game, and Grand Canyon emerged the winner of that contest to get back to a chance to play the Arizona Wildcats on Saturday night. Miranda Stoddard would take the ball and really shut down Grand Canyon's bats to begin things, and then helped herself out to give the Wildcats an early advantage.
Starts to bring it back in the payoff pitch. Swung on and hit high and deep to center field. Back on it is McCray at the wall. It's gone. Home run number 15 for Stoddard puts the Wildcats on the board.
Miranda Stoddard with the home run put the Wildcats on top early against Grand Canyon. And then later on, with a runner on, Devin Netz, her pitching and hitting compadre, would have an opportunity to bolster that.
2 outs. Runner in scoring position. The Wildcats 0 for 5 in this situation. Wind blowing out to left center. Netz 0 for 2 today. Twice has popped out around the plate. Swings at the first pitch, sends it deep to left field, and it's gone.
Devin Netz taking 1 yard. That was in the 5th inning. 3-0 Arizona at that point. Taylor Beal would add an RBI single, and, I mean, Miranda Stoddard was just fabulous in the circle. 6 innings, 1 earned run. She scattered 7 hits. She only walked one batter all weekend long in the innings that she pitched to raise her record on the season to 14-0. Devin Netz, though, would come on. She got into a little bit of trouble, Miranda Stoddard did, in the last inning, the 7th inning. So Devin Netz had to come on with 2 on and the tying run at the plate to try to close it out for Arizona.
Netz deals, and it's swung on and missed. Resets, and another 1-2 on the way. Swung on and missed. Kirk back in there, and another 1-2 on the way. Swung on and missed. Netz comes on in relief, strikes out the side. Stranding runners at first and second. The Wildcats will advance to take on Ole Miss tomorrow at 4:30, needing to win twice to get to the Super Regional.
A place that Arizona had never been, having to win twice at home to advance in a regional for the Wildcats. But that's what they needed to do going into Game 1 on Sunday at 4:30 against the Ole Miss Rebels. It was a stark difference in this game to what they had experienced in the game on Saturday. Arizona brought their bats and delivered big to try to put themselves into a deciding Game 7.
Against Santa Clara, he got this 4:30 start time, so all sorts of sunshine bearing down on everybody from left side. Is now Stewart opposite field. It's deep and gone to right. 4 consecutive hits, and the Wildcats have scored 4 to stake themselves to a 4-0 advantage before an out has been retired. She's up there now in that situation with nobody out and 2 on, top of the second. The 0-1 pulled just inside the line. That's going to be enough to score Sniffen. You got Beal already making the turn as she's getting waved around. Kennedy wants a triple as she is down safely, and it's 6-1 Wildcats. Sends this one high and deep toward left center field. Malvin is back. It's at the wall. It's gone. Opposite field home run as the wind seemingly dies down a little bit. The Cats continue to score in each frame as Altmaier has just homered to make it 10-1. As this one swung on and lifted, again back of short. Kennedy needs a moment, but she's got it. She's hauled it in. The Wildcats make short work of Ole Miss, winning the first must-win 10-1. Have now forced a winner-take-all affair.
There you go. So the offense, unbelievable in that ball game right there. 12 hits for the Wildcats. 3 RBIs for Sydney Stewart, 2 for Kyle Altmaier, Reagan Shockey, Dakota Kennedy. I mean, the top 5 batters in the order drove in all 10 runs for Arizona. And again, it was Miranda Stoddard in the circle. 5 innings, allowed just an earned run on 5 hits and had 2 strikeouts. Again, no walks. And so that led a lot of folks to speculate. Miranda Stoddard shut down Grand Canyon, shut down Ole Miss. Do you throw her out there to start the deciding Game 7 against the Rebels? Or do you turn to your Big 12 Player of the Year in Devin Netz? And this is one of the big debates. And I think we all have in our fandom situations like this where we wonder if the manager should have pitched this person over that person. For me, as you all know, I'm a Cleveland fan, Guardians, Indians. I go back to Game 7 of the World Series in 1997 when there were a lot of people that didn't feel like Mark Hargrove should have given the ball to Jose Mesa in the 9th inning to try to close out the first World Championship since 1954, that he should have stayed with Mike Jackson, who had been probably the Indians' best reliever of that postseason, arguably was the Indians' best reliever of that postseason. But everybody has a role on a team. And good managers stay with those roles. And yeah, there's a lot of people out there wondering why Miranda Stoddard didn't start the second game against Ole Miss, because she was pitching absolutely lights out and she delivered 3 more shutout innings in that game that the Wildcats ultimately lost. But Devin Netz is your star. She's the star of your team. She's the captain of your team. She's the leader of the team. Big 12 Player of the Year. And she's deserving of that opportunity. She earned that opportunity to get the ball in that situation and deliver for her team. She earned it. Absolutely earned it. So I have no problem with Caitlin Lowe giving the ball to Devin Netz to start that ball game. We discussed it in the press box prior to, do you do this? Do you do that? And I said, that's your girl. That's your girl. And yeah, she didn't look good yesterday. But Caitlin Lowe is at bigger risk, in my mind, bigger risk of losing her team if all of a sudden she decides, well, I'm not. I don't feel like my star has it, so I'm not gonna afford her this opportunity. You gotta stay with the people that got you there. And that's what Caitlin Lowe did in this instance. Unfortunately, it did not work out for the Arizona Wildcats. 520-848-1290. 520-848-1290 is the number to get in on the program. You can call us at that number. You can text us at that number. Coming up in the 4 o'clock hour, we'll talk softball with Derek Palmer. He was on the call of these games this past weekend. We'll get his thoughts. We'll let you hear the highlights from the deciding Game 7. Also, you will hear from the Wildcats, including Devin Netz for the final time, her goodbye to Wildcat Nation. DK on the sports tip. Cricket is getting you home every 20 minutes on the 5s with your traffic and your weather. You're listening to Wildcats Radio 1290.
From the Auto Nation Honda and BMW of Tucson Traffic Center, it's Wildcats Radio 1290 traffic and weather together. Collisions on Swan near Speedway on Swan to the south of Speedway, Wetmore and Flowing Wells in Wetmore. And also some slowdowns on westbound Ajo at Mission Road. 61 the overnight low, 94 tomorrow, 98 Wednesday, 100 by Thursday, and 88 now. I'm Cricket with your Wildcats Radio 1290 traffic and weather together.
This report is sponsored by eBay. Swapping out your tires? There's nothing like it. With eBay, you find the feel you're looking for, from smooth highway rides to grip for rough terrain. Get all the tires you need at the prices you'll love. eBay. Things people love.
Sean Furrier for Jack Furrier Tire and Auto Care. Spring is on its way to southern Arizona, and while we're hoping for a few more weeks of mild weather, we know extreme heat comes next. So right now is the time to get your car or truck road trip ready. And with 14 convenient locations, Jack Furrier Tire and Auto Care is the place. Not sure about your car's air conditioner? Need to check out that light on your dashboard? Or make sure your battery can make it through another summer? Jack Furrier Tire and Auto Care is here to help. With decades of experience here in Arizona and dozens of top shop awards for tires and automotive maintenance. And right now, save big on the brands you love, like Michelin, and get big rebates like $100 back on Cooper tires. Plus, buy 3, get 1 free on Cooper's new Pro Control Series tires. You can stack on even more savings when you pay with your Jack Furrier card. Check out jackfurriers.com for all the promotions and details, and even more money-saving coupons on top of our already low prices. Jack Furrier Tire and Auto Care, since 1960, here to get you there.
Here at the Almond Joy Factory, where tropical vibes abound, we use soft, fresh-tasting coconut.
The crunchiest almonds and delicious chocolate candy.
Ah, but do you know what our most important ingredient is? Sometimes you feel like a nut.
Sometimes you don't.
Almond Joy's got nuts and something even way better than that. Yes, Almond Joy is made with almonds and joy.
Lanny went to college and racked up huge debt.
A little bit over $100,000.
For a degree he couldn't use? Now what?
I had a friend that went to my computer career.
They even helped him get hired immediately after graduation.
One of the things I love about IT is that you can work from anywhere you want.
You could become an IT pro in just months, including cybersecurity and the basics of AI with zero experience at mycomputercareer.edu.
It worked for me, and I know it can work for you.
This is one student's experience. Individual results vary.
Is reviewing life insurance on your to-do list? Now's the perfect time to add it. A friend recently told me that securing life insurance sooner rather than later can help you lock in lower rates for years to come. So I bumped this up on my list and got it done. I called SelectQuote and couldn't believe how easy and affordable life insurance is. I'm 40 and got a $500,000 policy for $16 a month. My husband's also 40 and his $500,000 policy was only $18 a month. Plus, with SelectQuote's same-day coverage, there was no medical exam required, and we were covered by the time we hung up. Knowing I have this checked off my list feels amazing, but the peace of mind knowing my family is protected feels even better.
Call SelectQuote at 1-800-694-1010. That's 1-800-694-1010. Or go to SelectQuote.com to get your free quote today. 1-800-694-1010. Details on example rate at SelectQuote.com.
Must qualify for enrollment. Results may vary.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-8695. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS.
Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start.
Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems.
We have over 1,000 five-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau.
You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-575-8695. That's 800-575-8695. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
KCUB Tucson, a Cumulus media station. We talk Diamondbacks baseball daily.
Overall, inside of our culture, it's built on love, trust, commitment, and effort. And I think love is the glue to all of it.
Love, trust, commitment, and effort. We are Wildcats Radio 1290.
DK on the sports tip. Wildcats Radio 1290.
Tying runners in scoring position. The Wildcats 4 for 14 today with runners on 2 for 8 in scoring position. As she swings at that one, sends it toward left. If it stays fair, it's trouble, and it will fall just inside the left field line. 1 run is in, 2 runs are in. The throw is short hopped at third. A bases clearing double for Shep, and the Wildcats are right back in front, 10-9. Wait a minute, there is all sorts of fury being expressed by Arizona coaches.
Fury because the ball was foul. And the 3-run double turned into not a 3-run double. And Emily Shep would foul out to end the threat. And the Wildcats lost that game on Saturday to Ole Miss by a score of 10-8. Joined by Derek Palmer. He was the man that called the games this weekend over on Freedom 1400. Derek, did the season come down to an inch in the wrong direction?
It sure felt that way, especially after the fact. But they had so many other opportunities in addition to that one. It's just that one that stands out so much because of the way that it was denied deliberation. The whole reason that there was fury, we found out afterwards, is because they immediately ruled it foul, even though everybody who was sitting with us in the press box thought it landed fair. It sure, I couldn't figure out why anybody was signaling what looked like time because I was so certain it was fair.
Yeah.
And then the ESPN crew that was sitting with us said, no, it was definitely foul, but the only angle that they showed, it looked as if they had ruled it fair, it would have been difficult to overturn it. So that was certainly a tough way to go, but in that game, they were 2 for 12 or 2 for the other 11 opportunities that they had to try to drive in runners when they were in scoring position. So it certainly didn't come down to that one. The other big sequence was in the first inning when they had the 2 errors to start. And I don't know how many people agree with me, but they brought the infield in with runners at first and third, nobody out. And the first hit that was recorded was hit very well, but I believe that if they were playing at regular depth, that was probably going to be the third out of the inning. So they wound up giving up 4 runs there, and what very well could have been a 1-2-3 start. So that certainly had as much bearing on it as did that one call.
Derek Palmer joining us, called the games all season long for Arizona softball on Freedom 1400. Derek, you mentioned that first inning on Saturday. It was quite shocking because, you expect the Wildcats, they're the home team, to come out with a lot of confidence, and they for lack of a better term, they just looked like they were gripping in that first inning against Ole Miss. And that was surprising to see it from this club.
And as the series played out with the 3 games, I think you could kind of appreciate why they were pressing a bit, just because with the way that Ole Miss approached and the way that Nets sometimes has a little bit of trouble avoiding missing over the plate. And I think that was the biggest thing that was kind of getting in the way of any success that she may have had. It just seemed as if it was kind of the same thing that had been plaguing her, especially in the postseason when the teams got a little bit better and she was punished a little bit more severely whenever she would miss over the plate, and Ole Miss was able to jump on her. It was kind of felt like, in retrospect, a situation where their lineup was just a perfect matchup for Arizona's best pitcher.
Joined by Derek Palmer, the radio play-by-play voice of Arizona softball. Wildcats not going to the Super Regionals for just the second time since the Super Regional round was instituted in 2005, in which they made the postseason. Obviously did not make the postseason 2 years ago, so third time overall, missing this opportunity to advance. Derek, what were your overall thoughts from this weekend, and why maybe Ole Miss was just a tad bit better than Arizona?
That's the thing that I think hurts the most. Is I'm not sure that Ole Miss was.
I said earlier in the first, I thought pitching wise they were probably about even. I don't think that their pitching is any better than us. I think what you said at the beginning, I think they just got more timely hits when they needed them than Arizona did this weekend.
And that was in a season that I had nearly 50 wins. The one recurring theme. The 2 really were defensive lapses at different times, but an inability to cash in. So many of the Wildcats' losses this season, they just left so many runners, not just on base, but in scoring position. And going back to the first game, you had that trouble where, for example, in the third game, when Stewart wound up popping out on the first pitch after they brought that freshman back in for Ole Miss. Excuse me. That all happened with 2 outs. I have a hard time faulting an offense that isn't able to capitalize when the rally starts with 2 outs, But they had so many base runners in scoring position with fewer than 2 outs, and just could not come through with that big knock. And I think it all kind of relates to how they were squeezing the ball in that first inning on Saturday, where they just felt like they were really pressing, trying to do a little bit too much with pitches that were moving a little bit too far away. Shep had that big moment with the bases loaded in the first inning of the second game yesterday, where it just looked like she was trying to hit it to the moon, when a base hit would have scored 2 runs in all likelihood, and just, kind of overextending and pressing just a little bit too much, whereas Ole Miss, maybe it's because of where the pitches were located or missed, or however you choose to look at it, didn't necessarily have to put that extra strain on themselves.
Derek, what's going to be your lasting impression or memory of Devin Netz and her career here, and obviously, coming back from the injury that she suffered going into her senior year and having to redshirt, and then coming back and just having the phenomenal year that she had this year? What are some of the things you're going to remember about that young lady?
Just how cool she was. She didn't ever look like she was losing control, even when the house was burning all around her. You could appreciate how when things were going so far south on her in the first 2 innings in this, season-defining game, that she was still up there just grinding on it, and didn't look like, she didn't want anything besides having the ball in that situation. It just wound up that the matchup was more than she could handle at that moment in time, but just the willingness that she had to always get it. You go to the 7th inning against Grand Canyon in the second game on Saturday, where she just came off of a pretty rocky start and didn't look like she had any memories of it at all. Just give me the ball and let me get to work. And it was that way in both her performances in the circle and at the plate. Look at the run that she drove in against Santa Clara, which is when she was taking the lead and demonstrating willingness to I don't want to say settle, but manufacture hits the way she did. It was almost like a check swing that she just kind of pushed into right field to score a run. The willingness to do stuff like that, especially when her team really needed it to try to get on the board or to try to make up a difference or something. Those are things that I think are pretty rare for players that have the numbers that she did, in both pitching and hitting. And she just was so many times looking to try to answer the call and so many times delivered. It was really, really a special run to watch.
Arizona softball broadcaster Derek Palmer joining us. Wildcat season comes to an end in the regional round. We don't get to send Derek to Arkansas and keep him working this week. That's probably one of the bigger disappointments as well. Was looking forward to hearing Derek call some super regional softball this coming weekend. Derek, the Wildcats had an opportunity last night in the 6th inning. Bases loaded. Sydney Stewart comes up. She's your best power hitter. I talked about it in the opener. I think it was the opener against Santa Clara. She ended the game with a grand slam home run, walk-off home run to clinch the run rule. Had a chance to potentially tie the game here as well in that situation, but popped out to end the inning. My philosophy, and I haven't talked about this yet today, my philosophy as somebody that's played baseball and was taught baseball was that in those situations when you've got a pitcher coming in, that you always want to be patient in those situations. I remember my high school coach, I just, his words still ring in my head. Take a strike. Take a strike in those situations like that. Make that pitcher come in and throw a strike. You've got to be comfortable swinging with down in the count at times. And I just thought that was a perfect situation where your best hitter, your best power hitter, should have been a little bit more patient there. What are your thoughts on those types of situations, how you learn the game, whether you don't mind your hitter being an aggressive in that type of situation right there?
I think especially in that situation where you look at the body of work that they had against that pitcher, she only gave up the 1 run on Saturday, but walked 4. She had started the first game on Sunday.
Yeah, she threw like 5 straight balls at one point, I think.
Yes. No, and then she started the 7th inning. I believe she started with. At one point, she was walking the park, and she's a freshman that has had different struggles of different kinds at different points in the season. I was frankly shocked they brought her back in, and I think that the reason for that was just because there was nobody left. But the way that she performed at the start of the doubleheader Sunday, I would have assumed she wasn't available. So I completely agree with you that if you got somebody that young that had that much trouble, even in the midst of a string of innings where they looked successful, where she only gave up the 1 run again, I would make her throw 1, just to give her a chance to do something where she might miss.
Yeah.
Because you saw the way that Stewart here in the first inning of the first game is like, there's a very good chance that she was going to leave something really, really fat over the plate. But she said afterwards that she was looking for something hard and in, and she got something hard and in. It was just a little bit of a better executed pitch than I think anybody was looking for. And I mean, the frustrating thing about baseball and softball is that this game is literally decided by such a narrow margin.
Yeah.
Stewart's so strong. Had she been able to fight that thing off and just dump it in over the shortstop's head, that again scores 2 runs, and we're probably having a different conversation. But that's the way it broke.
Who's the player on this team that most excites you moving forward? Is it Stewart or is it someone else?
Man, they have that. That's the thing that's exciting is there's so much talent scheduled to come back, including the entirety of the outfield. Jenna Sniffen at third. Taylor Beal at short is like the wizard.
Human vacuum. I mean, she did not let anything get by her this weekend. I had not seen her play a
no.
bunch of games this year in person, and I was like, man, she makes every single play out there.
And she does it with such a grace that I think that we take for granted that she's getting to a lot of these balls, and that when something's able to get by her, it's kind of a shock. And it's not just that, then the way that she's able to deliver after she makes these plays, how quickly she gets the ball out of her glove and stuff. Like it's phenomenal to watch. But I think Reagan Shockey in center field, I have rarely seen a player that is able to get the ball back into the infield and provide so many second thoughts for anybody who's thinking about trying to extend a single or a double.
How is she not on the? How is she not on the all defensive team?
Probably because she's denied chances. Nobody's testing her, you know. So I mean, you got to be watching it pretty closely. I don't know. Maybe people get Arizona fatigue already in the Big 12. I think that's a possibility too, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, well, she's definitely one. Kyle Altmaier, obviously another one out there in right field. You mentioned Jenna Sniffen. But I said at the top of the show, you've got – this program has not had World Series winning pitching in 18 years, and you've got to – try to find that person. I don't know who she is or where she is, but this game is still about pitching, and if you don't have it at a high level, it's going to be very tough to win these big series when you get into them against teams like the Ole Misses and some of the other clubs from the SEC and in the Big Ten that you're going to face down the road.
Yeah, and much more to that point, the science behind the offenses has just become so exact. I mean, pitching has just become such a tough job because these hitters are getting to the collegiate level and they're so good. So to go out there and find a pitcher, I mean, you look at many of these pitchers that were pitching into Sunday and are going to be pitching into the Supers. Like almost all of them are top 10, top 20 recruits coming out of high school. It's just so hard to get outs when these hitters are so well tuned and just able to see the ball as well as they are. It's tough.
Derek, what are your summer plans? What's happening on summer break for the Palmer family?
I am fortunate. I get to teach a class in June.
Oh, you're teaching summer school this year. All right.
Yeah, it's a God blessing. Since COVID, there's not a lot of opportunities to do that. So I got a full class at Mesa Community College that is just champing at the bit to find out what I have to think about history.
All right. What do they think of Professor Palmer?
I try not to look. We just try to remain cordial. That's the goal.
There you go. All right, Derek. Well, enjoy your summer. Do something fun with the wife and the kids, and we look forward to chatting with you again in the fall when women's basketball comes around and we start to learn a little bit more about Becky Burke and what's going to happen with this new regime for Arizona.
Hey, you know where to find me.
There we go. Derek Palmer, ladies and gentlemen, the voice of Arizona women's basketball and Arizona softball. Derek, we'll chat with you later. Cricket is getting you home every 20 minutes on the fives with your traffic and your weather.
From the Auto Nation Honda and BMW of Tucson Traffic Center, it's Wildcats Radio 1290 Traffic and Weather together. Grant Road east of I-10, new collision reported. Some slowing on westbound Grant Road approaching I-10. Mission south of Ajo Way reported as a pedestrian struck, and that might be off on private property near the school. Weather-wise, 61, the overnight low 94, tomorrow 98, Wednesday 100 by Thursday, and 88 now. I'm Cricket with your Wildcats Radio 1290 Traffic and Weather together.
This report is sponsored by eBay. Swapping out your tires? There's nothing like it. With eBay, you find the feel you're looking for, from smooth highway rides to grip for rough terrain. Get all the tires you need at the prices you'll love. eBay. Things people love.
Snakes, zombies, public speaking. The list of fears is endless. But the real danger is in your hand when you're behind the wheel. Distracted driving is what's really scary and even deadly. Eyes forward. Don't drive distracted. Brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
Did you miss the big game?
They need a 3 to get to overtime.
You know we got you covered.
Midcourt. Shot is up. Good! Love has hit a three. We're going to overtime. Trying to keep it close, and you never give up. I guess that's life in the Big 12.
Wildcats Radio 1290.
Everyone in southern Arizona knows where to go for a truck. O'Reilly Chevrolet. And right now, that's what I call savings. Get behind the wheel with the 2024 Colorado Motor Trend's Truck of the Year with up to $1,500 off MSRP. Power, style, and savings that just can't be beat. See us on Broadway next to Park Place Mall. Call 747-8000 or check us out at O'Reilly.com. Test drive your new truck today at O'Reilly Chevrolet. Together, let's drive. With approved credit, see dealer for details.
Is reviewing life insurance on your to-do list? Now's the perfect time to add it. A friend recently told me that securing life insurance sooner rather than later can help you lock in lower rates for years to come. So I bumped this up on my list and got it done. I called SelectQuote and couldn't believe how easy and affordable life insurance is. I'm 40 and got a $500,000 policy for $16 a month. My husband's also 40 and his $500,000 policy was only $18 a month. Plus, with SelectQuote's same-day coverage, there was no medical exam required, and we were covered by the time we hung up. Knowing I have this checked off my list feels amazing, but the peace of mind knowing my family is protected feels even better.
Call SelectQuote at 1-800-694-1010. That's 1-800-694-1010. Or go to SelectQuote.com to get your free quote today. 1-800-694-1010. Details on example rate at SelectQuote.com.
Hey Tucson, ready to smash those pickleball goals? Start now and play forever at Ace Pickleball Club, the only spot in town with pro-grade cushion courts and a killer community vibe. Our member-focused, all-inclusive setup is perfect for every skill level. Swing by and check us out at the southwest corner of Stone and River. Got questions? Call us at 520-380-5260. That's 520-380-5260 or visit acepickleballclub.com. That's acepickleballclub.com. See you on the court.
And this Friday, we have a sweet deal for you from Ace Pickleball Club. You can get 5 Ace Pickleball Club drop-in classes for just $62.50, originally $125. And the sweet deal will go on sale this Friday morning at 8:30 at WildcatsRadio1290.com.
This is Joe Cordell of Cordell & Cordell. Cordell & Cordell is the largest family law firm in the country with over 35 years of helping clients navigate divorce. That does give us certain advantages, for example, in focus and resources. But being big doesn't mean less personal or less local. Our attorneys live and work in your community, and as neighbors, they understand the challenges your families face. If you're a guy facing divorce, remember, Cordell & Cordell, a partner you can count on. Visit CordellCordell.com to schedule your consultation.
Out here, you'll find a community of hardworking creators with loyal followers, along with proud moments worth sharing. And farm to table, well, that's just supper. And whether it's a raised garden bed, acres of land, or something for your animals, we've got all the supplies and are happy to share a little know-how.
Welcome to Tractor Supply, into life out here.
We bring you all the news and stories of your Arizona Wildcats. Be sure to follow us on Facebook and Instagram at Wildcats Radio 1290 for the latest highlights and commentary. Your home for U of A athletics, Wildcats Radio 1290.
I'm Brad Heller with NFL Network Now on the Westwood One Radio Network. Quarterback Brock Purdy and the 49ers have agreed to terms on a new 5-year, $265 million contract, according to NFL Network insiders. Purdy, who was set to make just over $5 million in the final year of his rookie deal, will now receive $181 million in total guarantees, including $165 million in the first 3 years. The deal runs through 2030, with the total value ranking 5th among NFL quarterbacks and the $53 million annual average tied for 7th per over the cap. Elsewhere, Lions defensive end Aiden Hutchinson is making strong progress in his recovery. Defensive line coach Casey Rogers says Hutchinson looks really good after recently returning to practice. Hutchinson suffered a leg injury that ended his 2024 season early, but coaches are now optimistic he'll be ready to go for 2025. This has been NFL Network Now on the Westwood One Radio Network.
Life insurance. Why are you putting it off? Can't afford it? Too much hassle? Think you don't need it? There's lots of excuses for putting off life insurance. But if you weren't there, who would pay the mortgage and other bills? With Ethos, you could be covered in 10 minutes and boom, family protected. Ethos, fast and easy online term life insurance. Up to $2 million in coverage with no medical exam. Some policies as low as $1 a day. Answer a few health questions and get your free quote at ethos.com/score. That's ethos.com/score.
Millions of Americans take medicine like Ozempic and Zepbound. Many of them are overpaying by thousands of dollars a year. These GLP-1 medications for diabetes, weight loss, and more may not always be covered by your insurance, but GoodRx can help. GoodRx helps you save every month on prescriptions at over 70,000 pharmacies nationwide. Best of all, it's free to use. Check GoodRx to save on GLP-1s. Just go to goodrx.com/GLP. That's goodrx.com/GLP. GoodRx is not insurance but can be used instead of insurance, including Medicare and other federal and state-funded programs.
DK on the sports tip. Wildcats Radio 1290.
So Nets back out there having to play through additional outs in the first inning. No score, top of the first. Already one away, but one on. And now the heart of the order coming up for the Rebels. This one swung on and belted to left field and gone. There you have that. 7th home run in just over 2 games. And the error comes across the score. As there's nobody on and 2 away, 2-0 Ole Miss leading here in the first. As Nets deals pulled down the third base line and fair. Brady makes the turnaround first and is just before Kennedy's throw. Another extra base hit in the first inning here for Ole Miss. Got a quick fly out from Pone, but then an error, home run, ground out, double. And now this 2-1 pitch is swung on and hit high and deep to left field and gone. 2 long balls given up here by Nets, and it's 4-0 Ole Miss. Third time in as many games that the visiting team has put 4 up.
That was the start of the final game, what they like to call Game 7, because it is the 7th and final game of the regional. As many games as you can play in an NCAA softball or baseball regional. And it is the game that decides who the winner is. And Ole Miss jumped on Devon Nets to go quickly up 4-0, just like they had done the day before when they had faced Nets, scoring 4 runs in the first inning. A carbon copy, 2 home runs allowed there. And that was going to be, again, that we all talked about how that was going to be the telltale sign. Could Devon shut them down right away, get ahead, get out of the first inning, and get some momentum going? However, it did not happen for the Arizona Wildcats in that respect. 4-0 was the score. U of A, though, much like they'd done the day before, able to get a run back in their half of the first.
They're looking to try to get some back here. This is a 1-2 pitch on the way, swung on and sent toward left field and down. Had to wait to see if it was going to fall, so everybody just advances one station. Kennedy is able to come across and score to get Arizona on the board. Nets takes third, Stewart to second after Altmaier's RBI single.
Kai Altmaier just had a really great weekend for Arizona. She hit in all 5 games. She, in fact, went 9 for 17 in the regionals. 9 for 17 was Kai Altmaier. She's back next year. 4-1, Sydney Stewart would come to the plate in the third inning, trying to cut in to the deficit.
Swings at that one and sends it high and deep to center field. Back on it is Malvin. She's watching it, though, way gone. As a solo home run starts things for the Wildcats. Still trailing, though, 6-3.
So 6-3 after that home run by Sydney Stewart. Devon Nets, though, would have to face Aaliyah Benford another time in the 4th.
And now the 1-0 misses outside, 2 balls and no strikes. Nets having to be very, very careful, as there's been 8 Ole Miss home runs over the 3 games, including 2 thus far today. 5 in the game that she started yesterday. The 2-0 trying to continue to go away. This one swung on and hit high and deep to center field and gone. third home run in 2 days and in 3 games against the Wildcats, as that one was a moonshot.
So if a guy shoots 98% from the free throw line and the announcer says he's made his last 50 in a row and he misses, they blame that, right?
Yeah.
So when Derek Palmer says, you got to be careful here because they've hit 8 home runs today, and literally in the next breath, they hit another home run.
Yeah.
Man, that's rough.
Devin Netz allowed 6 home runs to Ole Miss over the course of those 2 starts this weekend. That's it's tough to overcome when they've got your number. And you'll hear from Devin coming up a little bit later. I asked her just kind of what was tough about that, and she just unfortunately could not get their best hitters out. Arizona had a number of opportunities to try to get runners across. Again, the other Achilles, the other story, I think, of this regional was just not being able to get big hits when they needed them. The first time was in the 4th.
Again, slap towards second, hangs up high, no play. Fake a throw to first, look over at third. There's runners on the corners. Here comes Netz. She's got runners at first and third and only 1 out. First pitch to her is swung on and lined right to the first baseman. Yamas is going to glove that and then chase Shockey back. The Wildcats have been lining softballs right at Rebels as Netz continues that trend. There's 2 away. She's going to be very careful here with Stewart as this one swung on and sent towards center field. And again, what do I know? As that one's going to be had right in front of the warning track. The Wildcats 0 for 2 with runners in scoring position in that inning and now go into the 5th down 4.
And they would be down 4 in the 6th, but threatening. Bases were loaded, and Sydney Stewart would get another opportunity. Jamie Traxel, the head coach for Ole Miss, would go to her bullpen and call on the freshman, Malia Gochina. And here's what would happen on the first pitch she threw to Sydney Stewart.
Here comes Stewart. She was up in the 4th with 2 outs, runners at the corners, flew out to center field in front of the warning track. She homered to right center field in the 3rd. That's the last run the Wildcats have scored. Otherwise, she singled in the 1st. It's going to be Guacchino. We will let her get loose. Wildcats have the bases full. Stewart coming up with 2 outs in the 6th, down 7-3. First pitch swinging as Guacchino comes out there, and Stewart flips a fly ball to short. Sydney Stewart had already homered off of Guacchino today. She was the last batter that she faced in the 1st inning of the 1st game, and I don't know if Stewart would like to have that one back or not. They're not seeing a replay. Kind of got that one off the fist, and the Cats will leave the bases loaded, still down 7-3.
Yeah, last best scoring opportunity for Arizona. And all that was left was for the Ole Miss Rebels to close out the game and win it in the 7th inning by a score of 7-3. And this goes back to, again, one of the things I wanted to talk about today, and it's philosophy. It's philosophy in this game of baseball, in this game of softball. And a lot of us have played it. A lot of us have played softball. A lot of us have played baseball. And we've all been taught differently, I think, in this game. And as I mentioned with Derek Palmer, the way that I was taught by coaches, by an uncle who played 13 years in the big leagues, is that in that situation, when you've got a new pitcher coming in, especially a freshman pitcher, especially as a freshman pitcher who, like Derek said, you watched walk 4 people the day before, at one point throw 5 straight balls. That situation, at least the way that I was taught this game, is to be patient, is to take a strike. And when I say take a strike, that means that you allow that pitcher to throw a strike before you even consider taking the bat off your shoulders. And I want to hear from you. If you coach the game of softball, if you coach the game of baseball, How are you teaching your kids in that situation? 520-848-1290, 520-848-1290. Do you want your kids swinging aggressively in that instance? Or do you want your kids being patient at the plate in that instance? I was taught patience. And again, I mean, I was taught, what do we now, 40 years ago?
Yeah.
how to play this game. And it's different now. It's absolutely, baseball and softball are a lot different than when I was growing up playing these games. And like I mentioned, and how my uncle played in the big leagues, how it's a different game than when he played in the major leagues. But I want to know how you're teaching your kids right now. Are we? It may go back to what I said at the top of the show and how hitting is so different now. The hitters are so much better than they used to be, especially in this game of softball. That aggressive might be how they're teaching them. You'll hear what Caitlin Lowe, coming up here in the next segment, you'll hear what Caitlin Lowe had to say when I asked her about it. When I asked her, do you take a strike in that situation? Right there, that's how I was taught the game. How were you taught the game? 520-848-1290, 520-848-1290. J-Dub, in that situation, how were you taught the game?
I just think it's cyclical. So the way I look at it is if you have a relief pitcher who comes in and very regularly will throw their best pitch, right? They're cold-ish. Bases are loaded in that situation. The what you see is what's on film these days. I think hitters go based on tendencies. So I think the read might have been that this pitcher comes in and oftentimes will throw their slider, throw their fastball. And I think you're actually looking for a pitch, right? So whether you take or not, I just think that particular situation, they had a read on that pitcher and were looking for that pitch. I agree with you. I think at the end of the day, you're talking about a cold pitcher coming in. You want to make sure that you take advantage of the whole plate. So whatever it is that you're seeing there, and in lieu of 1 for 12, did Derek say, with runners in scoring position, more than anything, with the bases loaded, your best chance to put some runs on, you really just have to take advantage of that moment.
520-848-1290, 520-848-1290. How were you taught the game in that situation? Bases loaded, new pitcher coming in. Are you taking a strike? Or are you being aggressive there if you see your pitch right away?
What I mean by the cyclical thing, DK, is if you have a pitcher who comes in and gets away with that easy strike because everybody always takes on it, that's why I think that it changes. The methodology changes. The rule of thumb being, in general, we're obviously always going to want to see a pitch before we take the bat off our shoulder. And in that, it's always unique based on the batter and based on the pitcher themselves. And the question really is, was that the signal that she was given? Or did she just get a read and think, I can take this first pitch and do something with it? Because it's either the batter is given the option of taking the swing there, DK, or they're told, make sure that you don't swing at that first pitch.
All right, we'll dive more into this as well. You'll hear from Caitlin Lowe, what she had to say about it after the game. DK on the Sports Tip. Cricket getting you home every 20 minutes on the fives with your traffic and your weather.
From the Auto Nation Honda and BMW of Tucson Traffic Center, it's Wildcats Radio 1290 traffic and weather together. Some slowing southbound I-19 frontage road approaching Irvington, westbound Ajo at Mission. Collisions, Mission south of Ajo, a pedestrian struck that might be off on private property near the school. Mission south of Ajo, wrecked Grant Road east of I-10 with westbound slowing. 61 the overnight low, 94 tomorrow, 100 by Thursday, 89 now. I'm Cricket with your Wildcats Radio 1290 traffic and weather together.
This report is sponsored by Staples Stores. Your local Staples has hot deals and super low prices throughout the store on everything for your business. And right now at Staples, save up to $250 off your print order. Exclusions apply. Visit staples.com/print for details. Ends June 14th. Plus, save even more with the Easy Rewards program at Staples.
Hey, it's DK on the Sports Tip. Don't miss a minute of the best Arizona Wildcats coverage Challenge in town. Tell your Alexa device to play Wildcats Radio 1290. This is your home of Arizona football, men's basketball, and baseball. Wildcats Radio 1290.
You wanted to see me, Ron?
Yeah, see that woman sitting there? When did we hire her?
Oh, we didn't hire her. It's Take Your Mom to Work Day.
I've never heard of that.
Saw it on the internet.
Oh, boy.
Hey, guys. It's neat that Gary has a mom and all, but shouldn't we be talking about Alaskifications?
That's why I brought Mom in.
I'm sure she's a lovely lady, but she can't promise a 1-year no-breakdown guarantee the way Alaskan AC does.
Nope. And she doesn't promise lower energy bills the way Alaskan AC does.
Nope.
And she doesn't make sure people's air conditioner lasts longer than average, the way Alaskan AC does.
Nope. But she sings.
If you want your AC to last all summer long, with an Alaskification, it will always blow strong.
Wow.
Double wow.
Thanks, Mom.
Anything for the president of the company. How long have you two boys worked for Gary?
Gary!
Hey, gotta go. Promise to take Mom to lunch. Bye.
If you want your AC to last all summer long, with an Alaskification, it will always blow strong.
Schedule now at AlaskanAC.com.
It's the $10,000 quiz show. Okay, contestants, these are things that save you money. Ready? Here we go. It's Tucson's only place to save up to 40% on all your favorite tobacco products.
Tobacco Barn.
You pay no city or state sales tax because they're on
the Indian Reservation.
And save up to another $3 off with a coupon at
TobaccoBarnTucson.com.
Excellent. Now for the big savings. At Tobacco Barn, you'll save up to
40% off.
And because they're on the reservation, you pay no
city or state sales tax.
And at TobaccoBarnTucson.com, you get
a coupon up to $3 off.
What you are if you waste your money shopping somewhere else.
Crazy?
Nuts.
Stupid?
A few tacos short of a combo plate?
Wow! Tobacco Barn, Tucson's most watched savings show. Nogales Highway just south of Valencia. Check your local listings or TobaccoBarnTucson.com.
Cool Willie's Air and Plumbing. Always trust the big guy. Mention your Wildcats and receive $50 off any repair at coolwillies.com. Cool Willie's is proud to be a partner of the University of Arizona Wildcats radio broadcast. Two powerful teams working hard for you to get the job done right every day. Cool Willie's Air and Plumbing. Big enough to help, small enough to care. Remember to mention your Wildcats and receive $50 off any repair. coolwillies.com.
It's DK on the sports tip. Did you hear what we were talking about?
A Cinco de Mayo party tomorrow at 6 p.m.
Maybe I'll see if I can get somebody to come in and maybe do some mixology. And
it's just sweet and sour that we're drinking on air, right? Like there's no actual adult cocktails in there.
Whatever.
Mocktails.
Exactly.
Insert big wink, nudge, nudge.
DK on the sports tip, Monday through Fridays at 3, right here on Wildcats Radio, 1290.
Progressive knows if you have to choose between everyday life and your boat, boat wins. What are you going to do? Take the boat out for a spin or go mail something? Boat wins! Are we cleaning the patio or taking the boat out fishing? Boat wins! Are we skipping that eye exam to go sailing? Boat wins!
Rescheduling eye exams can be a nightmare.
All right, fine. Eye exam, then boat. Yeah! With Progressive, you can bundle your boat with your home or auto and save with a discount and spend more time enjoying those savings on your boat. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, affiliates, and other insurers. Not available in all states and situations.
Sometimes I struggle to get to sleep. My body stopped for the day, but my mind is still running. So I take ZzzQuil.
ZzzQuil, the world's #1 sleep aid brand, has a range of non-habit-forming products to fit you and your family's needs. Invest in a great night's sleep for the best you tomorrow.
I'm awake and ready to take on anything.
Better days start with ZzzQuil nights. Explore our products at ZzzQuil.com. Use as directed. Keep out of reach of children.
This is Bill Ryder with a Sports Minute sponsored by Fisher Investments. Caitlin Clark might be the most fascinating athlete in all of sports. In her opener against Angel Reese, and it was a feisty one, Clark had 20 points, 10 rebounds, and 10 assists. She had 2 steals and 4 blocks, just reinforcing the fact she is must-watch entertainment. She's one of the great athletes, not just in her sport, but in the country, and she's worth your time. I'm Bill Ryder.
At Fisher Investments, we may seem like other money managers, but we're different.
Are you really that different than the rest of us?
We are. As a fiduciary, we always focus on what's best for our clients.
What services do you offer besides investing?
We have a team of specialists in financial planning, estate planning, and more.
Your clients rely on you for all that?
Yes, we ensure clients receive unparalleled service at every step of the relationship.
Okay, but you still sell commission-based products, right?
No, because we believe that's a conflict of interest. We prioritize service over sales goals.
So, then how do your fees work?
We have a simple and transparent fee that's a percentage of our clients' portfolios. So we do better when our clients do better.
Wow, we're more different than I thought.
At Fisher Investments, we're clearly different. Learn more at fisherinvestments.com.
Investing in securities involves the risk of loss.
DK on the Sports Tip. Wildcats Radio 1290.
520-848-1290 is the number to get in on the program. Miley Galchino, pitcher for Ole Miss, came on in relief last night with the bases loaded. She had struggled the day before against Arizona and got Sydney Stewart to pop out on the first pitch. Again, the way that I was taught the game is that you take a strike in that situation, especially when you got a freshman out there, someone that had shown you the day before that they might be a little wild. Make them throw a strike before you lock in and get loaded to try to help your team win the game. Sydney Stewart obviously did not do that. She swung at the first pitch, popped up, and ended the Wildcats' last best threat to beat the Ole Miss Rebels. I want to know how you were taught the game.
Does that change as a batter if you literally hit a home run the last at bat? Like, so the last time she swung against that pitcher in the same day, right? Because she hit a home run off of Guacchino in the first game against Ole Miss on Sunday, and then she came in relief. This is the next pitch after just hitting a home run off that same pitcher. Like I was saying in the last segment, I think that the adage of taking a pitch when a reliever comes in, especially in a situation like that, DK, what were they down 4 runs?
Yeah.
Bases loaded, real opportunity to put some distance between, or to close the distance between them and the Rebels. Here's that play, DK, one more time.
First pitch swinging as Guacchino comes out there and Stewart flips a fly ball to short. Sydney Stewart had already homered off of Guacchino today. She was the last batter that she faced in the first inning of the first game, and I don't know if Stewart would like to have that one back or not. They're not seeing a replay.
520-848-1290. Let's hear from Eric. Eric, you're on DK on the Sports Tip, Wildcats Radio 1290.
Hey, what's going on, DK? Thanks for taking my call.
Absolutely, Eric.
So to start off, I agree with you 100% that that's how the game was taught. With all the elements, freshman pitcher, bases loaded, big game on the line. You go in there, you may have that pitcher's number, but you go in there and you see that first pitch. You want to gauge where they're at. If they're going to be all over the place, you keep taking. You keep taking till you see that strike.
Absolutely. I mean, that's how I was taught the game. And I don't know. Again, I played this game, Eric, a long time ago. And I know that things are different now and the teachings are different now. But and that's really what I'm trying to find out is how do you coach it all, Eric? Or are you?
I coached a little bit. I'm actually currently coaching T-ball right now, so I'm not really at that point. Right,
so you haven't gotten to that point yet.
Exactly. I did play, though. I've played my whole life. But, it's nice. It's good to go up there aggressive. But I think even if that pitcher throws, first pitch strike, that's not necessarily a pitcher's count still. So you're still in the ball game. You saw the pitch and you're ready. Yeah. You're locked in, essentially.
And she, not only that, she had hit the grand slam she hit in the Santa Clara game came on an 0-1 pitch. So in that instance, she had taken a pitch and put herself in again, you're down, but you've seen it, and now you're ready to lock and load. And I just thought that approach might have been better there last night in that situation as well. Eric, hey, I appreciate your call. Thank you.
No, thank you so much for taking it. Have a good day.
Absolutely. Let's go from Eric to Derek. You're on DK on the Sports Tip, Wildcats Radio 1290.
Hi, thank you for taking my call. So I disagree. The way that a player should play is if he sees that first pitch or she sees that first pitch and she likes it or he likes it, swing it. because we wouldn't be talking about the Dodgers World Series championship if Freddie Freeman took that first pitch in that game, in the first game when the bases were loaded and they put that reliever in, and he swung at first pitch and he hit a grand slam. So let's say aggressiveness is definitely key to the game, and don't take a pitch, swing it.
Good point. Good point with the Freddie Freeman. Absolutely. Similar situation last year in Game 1 of the World Series to beat the New York Yankees, and he did indeed swing at the first pitch in that instance. So a good again. And like I said, I think there's going to be varying opinions on this, how you approach those situations. And Derek, obviously, you see that a little bit differently than me. I'm curious, did you play? Do you coach any of that or no?
Yes, I don't currently play, but I played Little League. I played Legion ball. I played college ball, and none of the coaches that coached me ever told me to look at the first pitch.
No,
they always were, hey, you see that ball, if you're liking it, and if it's in the strike zone and it's in your area, swing it. Don't take it.
There you go. Derek, I appreciate you chiming in on your experience.
Thank you.
520-848-1290. 520-848-1290 is the number to get in on the program. How were you taught the game? How were you taught the game in those situations? That's what's great about sports. Everybody was taught differently. Like I was taught one way, Derek was taught another way. Coaches are different. Let's hear what the Wildcats had to say about that last night. Let's get a little bit of their press conference after losing in the regional round at home for the first time since 2004.
I mean, I'll start off by saying congrats to Ole Miss. I thought it was a hard-fought game, beginning to end, and I'm just so incredibly proud of the way our group showed up today. They showed up throwing punches from the beginning to the very last out. I thought we didn't get a lot of breaks in the second game. That was tough, and at the same time, they just kept going to work. And a hard-fought battle, hard regional, and congrats to them. But I couldn't be more proud of the fight and the all of it, the grit, all of it that our team put in today, and just couldn't be more proud of the group to the left of me as well. And super proud of our seniors and the legacy that they left with this program.
So, Miranda and Deb, your last game in the uniform, what's it feel like? And passing things along to, Sid, Stu, and the rest of them, how are you guys feeling, and what do you want to leave for them?
It's definitely hard. It's tough. It's emotional. I've been playing softball for 20 years now, and so it's hard anytime you close a chapter of your life, even knowing that you have great things ahead. It's still hard, but I think that I can speak for both of us, and we're really just proud to have worn this uniform and to be passing it along and know that we're leaving it in good hands. So I'm just really grateful for the short time that I was able to be here, but it's definitely changed my life, and I'm really grateful for this time, and so it just makes it harder to put it in the past.
I'd just like to say thank you to Kate and Coach Kendria for taking a chance on a girl who just wanted to play at the highest level and who also wanted to just win a national championship and just who loved the game. And I remember the moment that I stepped on campus that it was just everything that I wanted. And I remember sitting in my math class in high school, emailing them saying, you know what, I want to win a national championship with you guys. And when I got that email back, I was so excited. I knew I was going to commit here. And gosh, I couldn't have picked a better school. Couldn't have picked a better coaching staff. But gosh, I'm so grateful for the people that have surrounded me, the people who supported me, everyone behind the scenes. But gosh, I can't help but think that we're leaving this uniform better than we found it. And not only as a player, but also as a person. It's just one of the biggest things that I strive to do is just to leave each place better than I found it. And honestly, I can't think of a better group than to leave this uniform with and pass it on to our seniors this next year. But quite honestly, thank you for taking a chance on me.
Dev, what was difficult about navigating that Mississippi lineup over the last 2 days for you?
I just think it was honestly just being able to hit my spots at the end of the day, and sometimes the team just has your number, and that's what it felt like today and yesterday. So, yeah.
One for Sydney and then one for Coach Sydney. You took Guacchino yard in the first game. They bring her in to face you there with the bases loaded. What were you thinking about going into the at-bat, and what did you see on that first pitch?
I think just not making the moment bigger than itself. Like I always say, the fans were kind of getting a little rowdy and like everyone's standing up. And I think my plan was to attack an inside pitch, and I got an inside pitch. I was just a little early, but yeah, that was the plan off of her. But she came out of that plan, or she executed. So props to her. But yeah.
And then for Coach, obviously this isn't how you wanted the season to end, but you have the most of your roster coming back. You never know what the portal will hold, but how do you feel about the direction the program is going and what your roster might look like next season?
I definitely feel great about the direction that our program's going. I think, I think about our crowd today and this weekend, and Tucson doesn't show up for just anybody in the softball world, and they show up for champions, and these guys laid it all out on the line every single day of the entire season. And people show up for that, and they have your back. And I'm just so proud of the legacy these guys are going to leave. And it's not this weekend. That doesn't define them. It's, Devin's absolute spirit and heart of a warrior, and Miranda's feistiness and ability to just go out and dominate, and no questions asked, and just top to bottom they've left this team better. And I think that's what we're doing every year, and it doesn't always result in a national championship. It doesn't. Only one team gets to do that every single year. But I will tell you that, I think we talked about it in 2022. We were sitting in the room watching our name not get called in the postseason, and this group did nothing but absolutely just go to work on getting better, and they looked in the mirror, and that's a hard thing to do in this day and age, to just look in the mirror and say, how are we going to grow and how are we going to get better? And they've, that was, Devin and quite a few other people. I can remember our 22 class was freshmen in that room, and they decided how they wanted this program to be, the standards, the culture, all of it. They bought in, and they've just been going to work. Till the very last out today, they absolutely fought their tails off for what they believe this team to be and for what they believe to be in the future. So, yeah, it's a hard knock to take, but I also know, I told them my freshman year it did not end where it needed to be, and to me that fueled my fire for the rest of my entire life. So sometimes life hands you these things, and for our seniors they're going to use it in life, because that's how it goes, and for the rest of them they're going to use it in the game too, and I'm excited to see what that brings next season.
And Coach, coming off the run rule, how did just going down 4-0 in the game kind of maybe impact the vibes of the game there?
I mean, it was a punch, but we were throwing punches all day, and I was proud of us for responding with the two there in the beginning. And, a lot of people are going to talk about the left on base, but we were relentless getting people on and putting pressure on every single inning. And our outs with runners left on base were feisty. I mean, Jenna's lining out to the right fielder. We had 3 balls to the warning track. They were in the right place at the right time a lot of today, and that happens. It's life. And you got to swallow it, and you got to take it on the chin, and you want to do it with a circle like this, because a circle like this is going to keep you strong and keep you motivated for the future. And I'm glad our circle is tight and that we have our people.
Coach, 2 questions. Obviously, Sydney talked about the situation where she was looking for something inside. Do you have a universal philosophy on whether in that situation you want your batters to take a pitch, take a strike, or if they see the pitch that they're looking for early, it's fine for them to do that?
She has the authority to absolutely hack when she wants to hack, and I think that's the biggest thing. We played cat and mouse all weekend long, and I don't know if you could tell, but I mean, we were sitting on change-ups in moments and hammering them out of the park, aka Devin yesterday. We were sitting hard sometimes, we were sitting out, we were sitting in, and that is the most fun part of this game, is being able to play at that level where you're in this, you're living, breathing thing in this video game, and they make an adjustment, you make an adjustment. It's the best part about softball. And so when there is the belief in your team and their preparation, they have the authority to absolutely just go for it. And that's the thing, they went for it all weekend. They went for it, and it doesn't always end up the way you want it to, but it takes courage and fight to absolutely just lay yourself on the line like that. And they did it. They did it, and they're disappointed because they left everything on the field for you guys. And I couldn't be more proud that that's the group that showed up this weekend.
All right, that was Caitlin Lowe and the Arizona Wildcats after their game yesterday, in which they were eliminated by the Ole Miss Rebels. So again, Caitlin, that's her philosophy. Hey, she's got the absolute right to go up there and do what she did, and that's your best power hitter, and you want your best power hitter playing with confidence, and that's what Sydney Stewart did in that situation. We can continue to talk about that. What were your thoughts? How did you learn the game? What did you feel she should have done in that situation? 520-848-1290 is the number to get in on the program. Much more. Cricket will join us in the 5 o'clock hour as well. DK on the Sports Tip, Wildcats Radio 1290.
From the Auto Nation Honda and BMW of Tucson Traffic Center, it's Wildcats Radio 1290 traffic. And weather together. Collisions at a reported country club near Glen on Country Club to the south of Glen. Grant Road near I-10 on Grant to the east of I-10. Some slowing on westbound I-10 approaching Ruthroff. 61 the overnight low, 94 tomorrow, and 100 by Thursday, 87 now. I'm Cricket with your Wildcats Radio 1290 traffic and weather together.
This report is sponsored by Rocket. Rocket.com is the new home for all things home ownership. Whether you're buying your first home, finding your next one, or unlocking home equity to fund one of your dreams, there's only one destination that has everything you need to get started, all under one roof. Get started today at Rocket.com. Rocket, own the dream.
You wanted to see me, Ron?
Yeah, see that woman sitting there? When did we hire her?
Oh, we didn't hire her. It's Take Your Mom to Work Day.
I've never heard of that.
Saw it on the internet.
Oh, boy.
Hey, guys. It's neat that Gary has a mom and all, but shouldn't we be talking about Alaska vacations?
That's why I brought Mom in.
I'm sure she's a lovely lady, but she can't promise a 1-year no-breakdown guarantee the way Alaskan AC does.
Nope.
And she doesn't promise lower energy bills the way Alaskan AC does.
Nope.
And she doesn't make sure people's air conditioner lasts longer than average, the way Alaskan AC does.
Nope. But she sings.
If you want your AC to last all summer long, with an Alaska vacation, it will always blow strong.
Wow.
Double wow.
Thanks, Mom.
Anything for the president of the company. How long have you two boys worked for Gary?
Gary!
Hey, gotta go. Promise to take Mom to lunch. Bye.
If you want your AC to last all summer long, with an Alaska vacation, it will always blow strong.
Schedule now at alaskanac.com.
Ready to order?
Yes. We're earning unlimited 3% cash back on dining and entertainment with a Capital One Saver card, so let's just get one of everything.
Everything?
Fire everything. The Capital One Saver card is at table 27, and they're earning unlimited 3% cash back.
Yes, Chef! This is so nice.
Had a feeling you'd want 3% cash back on dessert.
Ooh, tiramisu.
Earn unlimited 3% cash back on dining and entertainment with the Capital One Saver card. Capital One, what's in your wallet?
Terms apply. See CapitalOne.com for details.
The perfect time to upgrade your carpet is right now. Get free carpet installation with the purchase of Home Decorators Collection's special order carpet. Give your floors a new, softer feel from timeless and trendy options with the performance to support everyday life. Refresh your carpet today with the Home Depot. Offer valid May 15th through June 1st, 2025. Receive free basic carpet installation with the purchase of Home Decorators Collection special order carpet. Excludes stock carpet.
Is reviewing life insurance on your to-do list? Now's the perfect time to add it. A friend recently told me that securing life insurance sooner rather than later can help you lock in lower rates for years to come. So I bumped this up on my list and got it done. I called SelectQuote and couldn't believe how easy and affordable life insurance is. I'm 40 and got a $500,000 policy for $16 a month. My husband's also 40 and his $500,000 policy was only $18 a month. Plus, with SelectQuote's same-day coverage, there was no medical exam required, and we were covered by the time we hung up. Knowing I have this checked off my list feels amazing, but the peace of mind knowing my family is protected feels even better.
Call SelectQuote at 1-800-694-1010. That's 1-800-694-1010. Or go to SelectQuote.com to get your free quote today. 1-800-694-1010. Details on example rate at SelectQuote.com.
Workdays can be unpredictable, but your workwear shouldn't be. With the Cintas Apparel Plus program, you'll have freshly laundered garments for everyone on your team delivered every week. Cintas has workwear for just about any job imaginable, with high-performance fabrics and an uncompromising fit that stretches and moves with you. Don't leave looking and feeling good to chance. Visit Cintas.com.
Oh, I'm ready!
And get ready for the workday.
Progressive knows road trips without your pet can be tough.
Hi, this is Next Stop Dog Boarding.
Hi, it's Scott again. How's Squeaks doing? You can tell if he's stressed by his eyebrows. Oh, and his breathing should sound like this.
Scott, Squeaks is exactly the same as last time you called.
Okay, let's talk in 20 to see if anything's changed.
With Progressive, your pet is covered up to $1,000 in vet bills in case of a car accident. So next time, you can take your pet with you. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates, not available in all states. Coverage for dogs and cats is included with the purchase of collision coverage and subject to policy terms.
Your home for everything Arizona Wildcats. You're listening to Wildcats Radio 1290, KCUB Tucson, a Cumulus media station. DK on the Sports Tip. Wildcats Radio 1290.
Journalism is still sixth. He's got a lot of ground to cover. He is still 5 lengths behind as they make their way toward the top of the stretch. Gosker trying to pull off a huge upset here. Has taken the lead on the outside. Clever again cuts the corner. Journalism is getting closer now. He's behind a wall of horses. He's looking for a place to go, and he's got nowhere to go. Oh, he bumped hard with Goal Oriented. In the meanwhile, Gosker's running the race of his life, and Sandman has entered the scene, and he has moved up on the far outside. Journalism is still running on. He's back into second. He might even win it. Here's the wire. Oh, my goodness. Journalism has won the Preakness Stakes in a performance like you read about.
Larry Colmus with the call of the Preakness on Saturday. What a race that was. So you spend all day at a softball regional and you miss the Preakness. I mean, that was there's this saying. Obviously, we watch a lot of NASCAR, and there's this saying, that the old saying from that movie Rubbing is Racing, and how you rub guys, you get in there, and then, man, I don't know that I've ever seen in a horse race where a horse just kind of basically just bullied his way in between two other horses, because I was like, when you're watching this race and you're like, well, there's nowhere for him to go. How's he going to even try to get it? You can't go on the inside rail. How's he even going to get to have an attempt to get to the front of this pack? And that horse just like, I'm going through y'all to get to where I need to go. That was one of the most impressive ends to a horse race I think I've seen in a long time.
I've never seen a horse trailing like that get caught up in the rail and in traffic and then lurch to the side and then recover from that and close and still make up like 3 or 4 lengths on the leader to take the win. That was in the final, 100 yards? I mean, it was the very, very, very end of that race.
Yeah.
So, yeah, unbelievable finish.
Good stuff there. Good, really, really fun race to watch there at the end. Journalism was one of the favorites to win the Kentucky Derby, but did not, but comes back and wins the the Preakness Stakes. And, of course, we've got the Belmont, which will be coming up in 2 weeks. 520-848-1290. If you had a chance to watch the Preakness, have some thoughts on that. We'll take those as well. Let's give you your BetMGM Network top play of the day. It's baseball coming up tonight.
I'm Michael Jenkins here to help you beat the books with the BetMGM Network. Tonight we're going to San Francisco and taking the Giants on the money line against the Royals. It is good pitcher versus great pitcher. Chris Bubich is on the mound for Kansas City. For the Giants, it'll be Robbie Ray, who's become a walking win through the first 2 months of the season. He's 6-0 with a 3.04 ERA, and the Giants are 9-0 in games he pitches, so it's free money. Giants on the money line tonight. I'm Michael Jenkins from the BetMGM Network. Bet smarter and beat the books, and download the BetMGM app today. Please gamble responsibly.
All right, so Giants. How about Robbie Ray, the former Diamondback? I mean, he again beat the D-backs last week up in San Francisco, and that's the play tonight. Right now, that is sitting at -132. Giants money line over the Royals over the Desert Diamond Casino. So if you want to take the Giants, he said easy money. We'll see, easy money. I don't know if there's such thing as easy money when it comes to betting, but $9.80 you can win on your $12.90 bet if you take the Giants on the money line tonight over the Royals. That's a 6:45 first pitch, so you still got plenty of time to get that play in. So we actually did not do well this weekend, but we kind of did well this past weekend on our bets. So Friday, we had the Nationals on the money line over the Orioles in the first 5. That did not work out because Baltimore was leading that game after 5 innings, 2-1. I believe the Nationals did come back and win, but we had them winning the first 5, and they lost. The other loss we had on Friday was on the NBA. The Celtics were eliminated in a blowout by the New York Knicks. We had Luke Cornett over 1.5 blocks in that game for the Celtics.
Well, he had like 7 in Game 6, didn't he?
Something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Dragon Ball did not like that bet. He's like, no way am I taking Luke Cornett to get over 1.5 blocks, which means he needed at least 2, and he only ended up with 1.
Yeah, the unicorn, their 7'4" center, has some kind of Lyme disease or something, DK. I mean, he's really fatigued and he can't even get in some of these games. So that was the only reason Cornett was even in that Game 6, and he was a huge reason why they won that game. But yeah, I'm not surprised. It's tough. When you're an unknown and you come in and the tendencies aren't there. But when they game plan, you know what the Knicks locker room said that the next day? They said, let's make sure Luke Cornett doesn't get 7 blocks against us in Game 7. Talking about the Arizona softball team, 41-20 was the final tally for the 5 games.
Yeah.
As far as runs go, 41 for the Cats. They gave up 20. Very similar to that Celtics-Knicks series. The Celtics led for 79% of the minutes in that series and lost 4-1.
Yeah.
So it was those 2 20-point comebacks and wins in the final moments. Mikal Bridges getting a couple of big steals down the stretch of those 2 games to win. But the Celtics were in control of that series for 79-80% of the series. The Knicks got it done when it mattered most.
And no basketball tonight. You've got the first game of the Western Conference Finals. That's going to be on Tuesday night. Timberwolves at the Thunder, as the Thunder closed out the Nuggets on Sunday by a lot. And so they're moving on. And then game 1 of the Eastern Conference Finals will be Wednesday. Indiana's had a lot of time off since they eliminated my Cavaliers. And they'll head to Madison Square Garden and the Knicks. And one person who can't wait to get there and play this series is Arizona grad Ben Mathurin.
We have the right mindset to go into game 1. And, we're not only trying to steal one game away. We're going out there to win every single game, So that's my mindset. That's the team's mindset. That's where we stand, and everybody's ready. So.
You like MSG?
Say it again?
You like playing at MSG?
For sure, I love it. I think it loves me more than I love it. I'll keep it. Who doesn't like playing MSG, man? Grew up watching all those guys playing MSG. I was telling Jay Walk, I said, yo, you remember when we were in high school and I was supposed to be doing my homework, but I was watching LeBron James playing in Cleveland. and doing all this, pregame routine and throwing the powder and stuff. So, yo, look where we are right now. We're standing exactly where we was watching the video. So I said, listen, as much as we would want to be involved a little bit more, you gotta appreciate where we are, man. Like winning a championship. How many different players in the NBA has won a championship? You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying if I win a championship I'm gonna retire, but I'm saying that you just gotta take advantage of the opportunity and be grateful.
There you go. Ben Matherin. He is excited to be in the Eastern Conference Finals with the Indiana Pacers with a chance to advance to the NBA Finals.
He put up 38 last time he saw the Knicks, so yeah, he's pretty excited.
All right, we are pleased to be joined by the third member of our team. Cricket is here today. Cricket, how are you?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing pretty good. I spent the entire weekend watching softball.
Oh, all weekend?
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, we had the regionals were here this past weekend.
Mm-hmm.
So we were out at Hillenbrand Stadium. And my wife texted me last night because I was there all day Saturday and all day Sunday. And she's like, are you tired of watching softball? And I told her, I was like, no, I'm not tired of watching softball. That's what this time of year is about.
Okay.
It's the postseason. Having a good time out here watching softball with the rest of the Wildcat fans. So there you go. I could have been out playing pickleball, but I was not out playing pickleball. But I hear you got you people who maybe want to go out and play pickleball. You got something for them because what did I say last week? Sweet Deal Cricket is her new name. Sweet Deal. Sweet Cricket with a new deal. What's the deal this week, Cricket?
Well, we've actually got two, and we'll do the first one. Yeah, two sweet deals. Yes, sir. First, for the sporty folks from Ace Pickleball Club, did you know that that's the only spot in town with pro-grade cushioned courts?
Wow.
And they can also cater to every single skill level, like maybe you're brand new. Ace Pickleball Club is located at Stone and River Road, and on Friday you can pay $62.50 for 5 drop-in classes. That's half off.
Okay.
And our second sweet deal for the
that's
the
a new one, Ace. I've not heard of that one.
You're not going tomorrow?
I wanted to go because 10:30 in the morning. Are you going?
No.
Oh, I wanted to go, but something came up with my mother, so I'm not going to.
Okay, fair enough. Our second sweet deal is for the artsy or craftsy people from This and That Creative Studio. So it's some fun stuff for kids. Like kids have this paint splatter room, slime making, plushies and stuffies. It's not just for kids because parents can enjoy sip and sew. I assume maybe some wine, some champagne. I don't know.
This is for parents who come home from work and they just find crayons all over the walls and they're trying to have that somewhere else outside their own home.
They don't want that anymore in the house. Yeah. So for This and That Creative Studio deal, you can pay $25 but get $50 to spend, and that sweet deal from both companies. Friday morning at 8:30 at WildcatsRadio1290.com.
All right, I like that. That's good. We got 2 sweet deals going this week. Hopefully, all the folks got roadies last week. I've got to put that on my list of things to do is to go to roadies, and now I've got to put Ace Pickleball. These places are popping up all over town. I think
Ace you could walk to, right?
Ace?
Yeah.
Stone and River.
It's right down the street.
It's pretty close.
Stone and River. Oh, so yeah. So you mean you mean I could walk to it, or we could walk?
We
to
could
it?
all walk.
Yeah, we
there
could
from
walk
here.
there. Yeah, that's right. I think it's I've seen them putting out flyers and stuff. I think they had something on the street about that place was going up over there. Do you play pickleball, cricket at all?
No, I've never.
No. Okay. Well, we'll put that on the list. Top Gun, pickleball, all that stuff.
So I can sprain an ankle and break a hip. Excellent.
Actually, pickleball is kind of made for older people. Though I mean, it's not made for older people, but older people have certainly embraced it.
Yes.
So less strain than racquetball or tennis.
Keeping doctors
for
in
your
business
ankles.
all over the country. Pickleball, keeping surgeons in business all over the country. All right, cricket is getting you home now every 20 minutes on the 5s with your traffic and your weather.
And from the Auto Nation Honda and BMW of Tucson Traffic Center, it's Wildcats Radio, 1290 traffic and weather together. Some slowing on the westbound side of I-10 approaching Ruthroff. That big widening project on Grant Road east of Country Club to east of Columbus, that does continue, and in some areas travels down to 1 lane. It's a rough ride to move through again on Grant, east of Country Club to east of Columbus. 61 the overnight low, 94 tomorrow, 100 by Thursday, and 86 now. I'm Cricket with your Wildcats Radio, 1290 traffic and weather together.
This report is sponsored by Arizona Lottery.
When you play the Arizona Lottery, there's always a chance you'll win big. But there's also a guarantee that you'll be giving back to the community. There's joy in it all. Love the play with scratchers, draw games, and more from the Arizona Lottery.
The jungle has moved afternoon, so grab your best Tucson tuxedo and join us on the Jim Rome Show weekdays from noon till 3 p.m. right here on the flagship home of your Arizona Wildcats, Wildcats Radio 1290.
Sean Furrier for Jack Furrier Tire and Auto Care. Spring is on its way to southern Arizona, and while we're hoping for a few more weeks of mild weather, we know extreme heat comes next. So right now is the time to get your car or truck road trip ready. And with 14 convenient locations, Jack Furrier Tire and Auto Care is the place. Not sure about your car's air conditioner? Need to check out that light on your dashboard? Or make sure your battery can make it through another summer? Jack Furrier Tire and Auto Care is here to help. With decades of experience here in Arizona and dozens of top shop awards for tires and automotive maintenance. And right now, save big on the brands you love, like Michelin, and get big rebates like $100 back on Cooper tires. Plus, buy 3, get 1 free on Cooper's new Pro Control Series tires. You can stack on even more savings when you pay with your Jack Furrier card. Check out jackfurriers.com for all the promotions and details, and even more money-saving coupons on top of our already low prices. Jack Furrier Tire and Auto Care, since 1960, here to get you there.
So hot. Hi, can I help you?
Good afternoon. We're with Goodfellas AC Rapid Response Team.
But I didn't call yet.
That's how fast we are, man.
Just as I thought. This AC is out.
No, we're not gonna lose it. Come on. Come on. Don't you die on me.
Johnson, get a hold of yourself. Sorry, we take this very seriously.
Wow, you fellas are good.
It's not just a name, ma'am.
It's who we are kind of thing.
Good service, good prices, Goodfellas. Goodfellasac.com.
This is the story of the one. As a lineman, he does whatever it takes to keep the power on in his community. And he wants a partner like Grainger who does the same. Grainger offers the professional-grade products he needs, from voltage detectors to harnesses to hard hats, plus fast, dependable delivery, so he can rise to every challenge. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
This is Joe Cordell of Cordell & Cordell. Cordell & Cordell is the largest family law firm in the country, with over 35 years of helping clients navigate divorce. That does give us certain advantages, for example, in focus and resources. But being big doesn't mean less personal or less local. Our attorneys live and work in your community, and as neighbors, they understand the challenges your families face. If you're a guy facing divorce, remember, Cordell & Cordell, a partner you can count on. Visit CordellCordell.com to schedule your consultation.
Progressive knows if you have to choose between everyday life and your boat, boat wins.
What are you going to do? Take the boat out for a spin or go mail something?
Boat wins!
Are we cleaning the patio or taking the boat out fishing?
Boat wins!
Are we skipping that eye exam to go sailing?
Boat wins!
Rescheduling eye exams can be a nightmare.
All right, fine. Eye exam, then boat.
Yeah!
With Progressive, you can bundle your boat with your home or auto and save with a discount and spend more time enjoying those savings on your boat. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, affiliates, and other insurers. Not available in all states and situations.
Sometimes I struggle to get to sleep. My body stopped for the day, but my mind is still running. So I take ZzzQuil.
ZzzQuil, the world's #1 sleep aid brand, has a range of non-habit-forming products to fit you and your family's needs. Invest in a great night's sleep for the best you tomorrow.
I'm awake and ready to take on anything.
Better days start with ZzzQuil nights. Explore our products at ZzzQuil.com. Use as directed. Keep out of reach of children.
Download our app. It slaps. Nobody covers Southern Arizona sports like we do. Don't miss out on any of the highlights, stories, and analysis. The flagship home for Arizona Wildcats athletics, Wildcats Radio 1290.
Westwood One presents Today in Women's Sports. The New York Liberty began their title defense with a bang. Fresh off the first WNBA championship in franchise history last October, New York kicked off the new season on Saturday with a 92-78 win over the Las Vegas Aces. The festivities began pregame with the players being awarded their rings and the team unveiling its banner in the rafters of Barclays Center. Once the ball was tipped, it was All-Star Breanna Stewart's 25 points and newcomer Natasha Cloud's 22 that propelled the champs to victory over Asia Wilson and the Aces. Liberty head coach Sandy Brundello expects a challenging journey ahead as her squad attempts to repeat.
I'm excited. I'm excited about this team that we have here. Yes, our goal is to win another championship, but it's a long way to go. It's more about playing in the right way, and so excited. It's going to be hard, but let's embrace the hard.
With Today in Women's Sports, I'm Olivia Harlan-Decker on Westwood One.
The cost of mesothelioma treatments can exceed $400,000, and families often face losing their homes and life savings just to pay the bill. The Rights and Claims Department of Flint Cooper has helped victims secure financial support they need to pay for their care and ensure their family's future. If you've been diagnosed with mesothelioma and don't have legal representation, call Flint Cooper now at 800-606-8169. Time is running out for you to file a claim, so don't wait. Call 800-606-8169 for a free consultation.
Empower. Tim collects bobbleheads. A lot of bobbleheads. Baseball bobbleheads. Race car bobbleheads. Little chihuahua bobbleheads. He's got an entire room strictly for bobbleheads. Does he need them? No. Is his wife mad about it? A little. But Tim works with Empower, and he got good at money, so he can be a little bad. Ooh, horse bobblehead. Classy, Tim. Empower. Invest well, live a little. Start today at empower.com.
DK on the sports tip. Wildcats Radio 1290.
First pitch swinging as Guacchino comes out there and Stewart flips a fly ball to short. Sydney Stewart had already homered off of Guacchino today. She was the last batter that she faced in the first inning of the first game, and I don't know if Stewart would like to have that one back or not. They're not seeing a replay. Kind of got that one off the fist, and the Cats will leave the bases loaded, still down 7-3.
It is our question of the day. Head on over right now to Twitter at Wildcats1290. Arizona's last offensive threat against Ole Miss ended with Sydney Stewart popping out on the first pitch with the bases loaded in the sixth. Rebel reliever Miley Guacchino had just come into the game. Should Stewart have taken a strike in that situation? I said she should have. Eric called in and said she should have. Derek called in and said he had no problem with her being aggressive. Head on over right now and vote in our poll. Wildcats 1290. Should she have taken a strike? Sydney Stewart. Yes, be patient. No, be aggressive. Right now, as you can imagine, it's a 50-50 split.
I think if you listen to Caitlin after the game, right, we should talk about the back and forth and the chess match.
Yeah.
And we take a slider here, we are looking for a slider there. And that whole thing, isn't that how baseball and softball work?
Pretty much.
Where, I think the philosophy of taking when a reliever comes in and you've got the bases loaded or people in scoring position, obviously that's a good idea, a good adage to make sure that you see a pitch. And it seems like the way Skip said after the game was that the full confidence in Sydney Stewart. She was 5 for 10 in that series versus in those 3 games that they played versus the Ole Miss Rebels. She hit 500. So I think you want to trust that your best hitters are gonna make the right reads on that. It's so tough, DK, because it's such a split-second decision. That was probably 30 seconds after she got to the mound, the new pitcher, before the play was over and the inning was over.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's so tough, especially the confidence that comes from hitting a home run off that same pitcher just earlier that morning, the last time you saw a ball from the mound from them. It's tough.
Sydney Stewart finished 6 for 15 in the regional round, but she had 8 RBIs, obviously a grand slam home run, and a 3-run homer and a solo home run. So she drove in all the runs on home runs in the ball game. She also had a couple of doubles in the contest. So she had 5 extra base hits, 3 home runs and 2 doubles in the
She was
regionals.
4 for 6, DK, versus Old Miss on the 18th of May.
Yeah.
4 for 6, including that pop-up to short.
Right.
To end that threat. So 4 for 6 on the day. Would have liked to have been 5 for 6. And it's such a different situation, down 4. you get a couple of runs across there, even if it's you get bloop single and into the outfield, whatever it takes.
Rich Carrillo checks in. He says, hey, if the pitcher serves up a gopher ball, the middle of the plate, chest high, you might as well cut loose. If that's not the pitch you see, don't swing. It's that simple, says Rich Carrillo. We always appreciate Rich checking in on that one. Rich also says, in terms of Arizona softball, U of A's program is steady. However, U of A is a long way from being elite. Low is still way behind UCLA, Oregon, and Texas Tech out west. Prior to 25, Lowe had a woeful Pac-12 record, 27-45 in 3 seasons. Her trip to OKC in year 1 was an aberration. Good team, but not an elite team. Desiree Reed-Francois has a decision to make because Caitlin Lowe is in the exact same situation that Adia Barnes was in at the conclusion of her last basketball season here. Caitlin Lowe is about to go in to the final year of her contract. She signed a 5-year deal, you remember, when she took the job in 2021. So 25-26 will be the last of those 5 years, if my math is correct there. 21, 22, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yes, 25-26. So you probably, like we talked about with Adia Barnes, don't want Caitlin Lowe to go into the final year of her contract without some type of an extension. So I'm assuming we'll probably get some type of decision on that here in the very
crazy is it,
near
listeners, that Caitlin Lowe's been the head coach now for 4 years and has been to 2 College World Series and is on the hot seat, according to some fans.
No, she went her first year. But so 1 College World Series, 1 regional, 1 super regional. And
Mike Candrea was still there.
Yeah, that was Mike Candrea. Yeah.
And obviously the knock being, do it with your own players, right? Like you always hear that when you have a new coach come in, especially after someone replacing a legend with the tenure of Coach Candrea. I don't know. I think what you said in the opening segment of this show, DK, about how it's not your 80s and 90s landscape of softball anymore, where, if you have a couple of dominant pitchers, you can just mow your way on your way to Omaha and win a title. There's so many great hitters. So we talk about the U of A baseball's new pitching facility. I mean, there's a 4K video in every single person's pocket right now. You want to go watch tendencies of a pitcher before you go up there? You don't have to wait to get to the dugout and listen to what the coaches have put together for you as far as film is concerned, DK. I mean, these players can go out on their own and do a lot of that work. And I just think the technology behind it and the want to, right? I mean, the 94 was it? The first 96 was it? The first softball in the Olympics? And how much that spread that wave across the globe.
Yeah.
We're seeing the ramifications of that 25 years later, where there's a huge amount of interest, and not just softball, but women's sports in general. You look at what's happening in the WNBA and women's college basketball. But I just think that there's more people, there's more competition for those spots. And what breeds great players is when you're being pushed at every single step of the way to get on the team, to make the lineup, to make it to college, and so forth and so on. I mean, it's not easy. Never has been easy, but it's harder now than it ever has been to make those deep runs in the postseason.
Liberty knocked out the number 1 overall seed, Texas A&M, this past weekend. LSU was knocked out by Southeast Louisiana. It's getting tougher and tougher. Parity is at its height. We talked about Texas Tech. They're in the Super Regionals. They hadn't won a conference championship in softball in 35 years. They go out and pay $1 million to get one of the best pitchers on the market, and now they're in the Super Regionals with a chance potentially to go to the World Series. So that's kind of where it's at right now. We talked about Ole Miss bringing their bus out here. We'll get to some of those. We've had some folks comment on that. We'll get to those here in a moment. I do want to read this one by Pitchers Circle. Checks in on Twitter in terms of whether or not Sydney Stewart should have taken a pitch. He says, absolutely. Make that freshman pitcher work. Stewart was headed back to the dugout thinking, why did I swing at that? That's a reminder conversation from coach to hitter, before she steps in the box. That didn't happen. Coaching, ? Again, though, Caitlin Lowe did say that she was fine with it. So maybe that conversation didn't happen because she was fine with her being aggressive in that situation. In terms of, I tweeted, obviously, about the bus on Saturday, and I said, you want to know what investment in women's sports looks like? That's this bus being here. Ole Miss sending their bus ahead along with 2 charters to make sure they had creature comforts out here for the regional round. Gio checks in and says, and Mississippi softball has achieved exactly what in the past 5 to 10 years? This investment you talk about hasn't made them a better program at any level than Arizona. Well, we can agree on that, Gio. They're not a better program top to bottom than Arizona, but as of right now, they're sitting in a better position this season than Arizona.
This is their third.
Yeah,
super regional in their history of their program.
Right.
What's Arizona's made like 40, right?
Exactly.
They've never made the College World Series.
No.
So what this is an investment, DK, in the present and the future. So we can talk all about the 90s and early 2000s and how much success Arizona had. And you can point to Ole Miss's lack of success in softball to date. But guess what? They just moved on. They're going to the Super Regional with the chance to go to their first ever College World Series. And they drove a bus 1,500 miles so they could pick their team up from the airport. So that's support, right? If nothing else. And I don't think any of this means, obviously, the Arizona athletic program doesn't support the softball team at all. I just think that the landscape in the NIL era, and you talk about the TV money from football the SEC has to throw around to all the other athletic departments, that's what we're seeing, right? We've been seeing it for 10 years. This is not new, right? We've been seeing it. But I think it's incredibly impressive, that story of them driving their bus out here just to pick them up from the airport and have some of their, a little bit of home to bring with them.
Greg Thompson checks in and says, you understand it's easier to invest when you have SEC money. You get that, right? Absolutely get that, Greg. That's what you're competing, though, against. If you want to win national championships, you're competing against schools that are going to pay to send their bus 18, would you say 1,800 miles?
14 and change. Yeah, it's like almost 1,500
miles.
Yeah.
1,400 miles just to pick them up from the airport in Tucson. That's what you're competing against. You're competing against teams like Baylor, who can pay one women's basketball player $600,000 in NIL. That's what you're competing against right now. So we can cry about SEC money and all that, but the reality is that we got to figure out a way to come up with our money.
Speaking of NIL, DK, Cleveland's new quarterback just got his contract, and it's $2 million less than he made last year at Colorado.
Shedeur Sanders.
Yes.
$2 million less. Yeah. Than what he made.
Yeah.
Last year. But again, and that's that. We had Friday, and if you missed it, Friday we talked to Chester Burnett. His son, Kean Burnett, came back to Arizona football after transferring to Kansas. He talked just about that. He's like, hey, some of these kids are not going to play in the NFL or the NBA, but they're good college players, and they have this opportunity. And maybe they don't want to go play. Maybe they're good enough to go play in professional football, but they don't want to go do that. And we talk about that all the time. Like, we always have that conversation about, well, we want kids who love the game and that type of thing. Some kids some kids know they're really good at this and they want to utilize it to get an education and now in this era to make some money. But maybe they don't want the pressure of having to continue to do this, or they don't want to put their body through having to do this for another 10 years at the professional level when they can make, if you can make a couple million now, that's if you invest that right, that's generational wealth.
Real quick, you're talking about pressure. You remember the Todd Marinovich story? Well,
of course, I went to college with it.
No, I understand, but like his dad played NFL while he was in the womb. Like they groomed him to be an NFL quarterback from before he was born. I'm not worried about this generation, DK, but 10 years from now, when you're talking about 10-year-olds right now watching the landscape of college athletics and seeing the amount of money that's being thrown around, there's something to be said about the reasoning why you do something. And then there's the helicopter parenting, so living vicariously. So how much pressure are 9, 10, and 11-year-olds right now being put under by their parents because they can see that future? I just hope kids have some form of childhood because, man, we're talking about $6, $7, $8 million a year in NIL for some of these players is an incredible amount of money. And the dream was always going to be to play professional sports, DK. But now we're in an era where young people can look towards college, and you're talking about generational wealth and being able to potentially pull your family out of wherever they are and that kind of thing, and that motivation to get there. It's just a completely, and then it's not, well, my uncle always, took me to Arizona games. I've always loved Arizona. I want to go to Arizona. That's not the motivation. It's, well, this team offered 7, this team offered 8 million, and this team offered 10. So I'm going to go to the one that offered 10.
There you go. If you missed our conversation with Chester Burnett, head on over right now, WildcatsRadio1290.com. You can hear it there or on our app. Download the app, Wildcats Radio 1290. You can hear it there as well. Cricket is getting you home every 20 minutes on the 5s with your traffic and your weather.
From the AutoNation Honda and BMW of Tucson Traffic Center, this is Wildcats Radio 1290 Traffic and Weather together. Some light slowing on the westbound side of I-10 approaching and passing Ruthroff. Crash reported at Tanque Verde and Bear Canyon and Tanque Verde. Traffic hazard reported at Golf Links and Swan. 61 the overnight low, 94 tomorrow, 100 by Thursday, and 86 now. I'm Cricket with your Wildcats Radio 1290 Traffic and Weather together.
AutoNation Honda Tucson at the Auto Mall is your premier automotive destination in town. Explore the new 2025 Honda models and extensive collection of pre-owned vehicles. Experience no-hassle financing and our no-haggle one-price selection. Visit AutoNation Honda Tucson at the Auto Mall today.
This report is sponsored by Lowe's. Now more than ever, Lowe's knows you want the lowest price. With their lowest price guarantee, if you find a qualifying lower price on the same item, they'll match it. Price match applies to the same item, current price at qualifying retailers, exclusions and terms apply. Learn how they'll match price at Lowe's.com/lowest price guarantee.
Yeah, Goodfellas AC.
Hi, can I get a second opinion from you guys on something?
Of course. That's what we're here for.
So, my wife's brother claimed he'd done some AC repair before.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, and now there's kind of a rope and pulley situation that opens the freezer door and a fan inside turns on to cool off the house.
Huh, very creative.
Really?
No, not at all. Next time, call us first, yeah?
Yeah.
Call Goodfellas AC for free estimates and second opinions. Good service, good prices, Goodfellas. GoodfellasAC.com.
Check engine, ABS, or maintenance light on? Take the guesswork out of your warning lights with O'Reilly Veriscan. The service is free and provides a report with solutions verified by ASE certified master technicians. And if you need help, we could recommend a shop for you. Ask for O'Reilly Veriscan today.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Now is the perfect time to start on your next success. An accredited state university, University of Maryland Global Campus offers online and hybrid courses. Plus, you can earn up to 90 credits toward a bachelor's for prior learning and work experience, or transfer up to 12 credits toward a master's. No application fee if you apply by May 30th. Learn more at umgc.edu. Certified to operate in Virginia by Chev.
Progressive knows if you have to choose between everyday life and your RV, RV wins.
What, are you going to take the RV to the lake or clean out your closet? RV wins! Putting the dishes away or taking the RV camping? RV wins! Cleaning the fridge or taking a trip to the beach? RV wins!
You might want to clean the fridge real quick because, mold.
We clean out the fridge, then take the RV out.
With Progressive, you can bundle your RV with your home or auto and save with a discount and spend more time enjoying those savings in your RV. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, affiliates, and other insurers not available in all states and situations.
Memorial Day savings are here at the Home Depot. So take your kitchen to the next level with up to 35% off, plus up to an extra $450 off select appliances like LG. Plan your get-togethers with an LG refrigerator you can count on for years to come at the Home Depot. And with the connected ThinQ app, you'll know if the door is left open and when to change the filter. Spend less time worrying this Memorial Day with savings on LG, America's most reliable appliance brand at the Home Depot. Offer valid May 15th through June 4th, U.S. only. See store or online for details.
You wanted to see me, Ron?
Yeah, see that woman sitting there? When did we hire her?
Oh, we didn't hire her. It's Take Your Mom to Work Day.
I've never heard of that.
Saw it on the internet.
Oh, boy.
Hey, guys. It's neat that Gary has a mom and all, but shouldn't we be talking about Alaska vacations?
That's why I brought Mom in.
I'm sure she's a lovely lady, but she can't promise a 1-year no-breakdown guarantee the way Alaskan AC does.
Nope.
And she doesn't promise lower energy bills the way Alaskan AC does.
Nope.
And she doesn't make sure people's air conditioner lasts longer than average, the way Alaskan AC does.
Nope. But she sings.
If you want your AC to last all summer long, with an Alaska vacation, it will always blow strong.
Wow.
Double wow.
Thanks, Mom.
Anything for the president of the company. How long have you two boys worked for Gary?
Gary!
Hey, gotta go. Promise to take Mom to lunch. Bye.
If you want your AC to last all summer long, with an Alaska vacation, it will always blow strong.
Schedule now at alaskanac.com.
Not available in all states. Rates vary. Building a financial safety net for your family can be tough. But with term life insurance through Ethos, you can have peace of mind that they can pay the mortgage and other bills if something happens to you. With coverage in as little as 10 minutes, all online, Ethos finds your best rate across their multiple trusted carriers. Some policies as low as $1 a day billed monthly. And even in uncertain times, your term life insurance rates and payout don't change. Get a free quote at ethos.com/win. That's ethos.com/win.
This is Zach Gelb with the Sports Minute, sponsored by Napa, the pros who know AC parts inside and out. On Friday, Brock Purdy and the 49ers finally agreed to a massive 5-year, $265 million contract extension. And now, as we enter the 2025 season, it's clear that there's no QB under more pressure than Brock. The 49ers lost quite a few pieces this offseason in order to pay Purdy, and now Brock must not only take his game to the next level, but he has to lead the 49ers, who missed the playoffs a year ago, back to being a Super Bowl contender this season. I'm Zach Gelb.
At Napa, we've spent the last 100 years building our business into an engine that powers yours. Whether you're big or small, national or local, Napa has the automotive solutions your business needs to stay moving. And it's all driven by a nationwide network of quality parts and exceptional service on one mission: to keep your business moving full speed ahead. That's why we are the pros that know.
While retinitis pigmentosa takes Mark's vision, his family gives him hope, whether at the family business or at home with his wife and sons. He knows he's not fighting alone. For 50 years, the Foundation Fighting Blindness has funded research into treatments and cures for blinding retinal diseases, providing hope to people with vision loss. And for Mark, winning the fight means being there for his family. The Foundation Fighting Blindness. Together, we're winning. Help us end blinding diseases at fightingblindness.org.
DK on the sports tip. Wildcats Radio 1290.
Swing and a miss. The Merrill Kelly curveball gets him his first strikeout. Right there. 93. Got that comeback sinker. That's the pitch that worked so well for him against the Giants last week. Right there. Merrill Kelly is dealing. He's punched out 7 through 3 2/3. 3-2. Merrill Kelly, 10 strikeouts. His first double-digit strikeout game of the year. Got him! Merrill Kelly. 7 scoreless innings of one hit ball, 11 strikeouts.
Diamondback down low.
Baseball time. How about Cousin Merrill yesterday? Dealing as the Diamondbacks won their series with the Rockies over the weekend, taking 2 out of 3. The middle game on Saturday was an absolute disaster. They lost 14-11 or something like that. It was ugly. Ugly pitching, but they get the series win, and now it's on to Los Angeles. They'll take on the Dodgers tonight, 7:10. First pitch, it'll be Brandon Pfaadt on the mound, 6-3, 3.73 ERA. Not a bad season so far for Brandon. And he'll face Jake Dreyer for the Dodgers, 2-1, 255 earned run average. Dodgers are the favorite right now on the money line out at the Desert Diamond Casino Hotel at minus 157. So if you're betting the D-backs tonight to win, you're getting plus 130 on that game tonight. Real quick before we get in, I wanted to go over the golf because Scotty Scheffler wins the PGA Championship over the weekend. So here's what we did for our Bet MGM network on this. They gave us 4 players to bet. They gave us Scotty Scheffler, Rory McIlroy, Bryson DeChambeau, and Ludwig Oberg. So we bet all 4 of those with the hope that, because they're all plus money, so we bet all 4 with the hope that one of them wins, so we would pretty much cover whatever we lost depending on who won, or we wouldn't necessarily lose a whole bunch of money either way. We'd be in the plus money if any of those 4 guys won. Well, Scotty Scheffler won. He was the second highest favorite at plus 500. But how about this? So we ended up for the weekend going 1-5 because I mentioned we lost the Nationals. We lost Luke Cornett, only getting 1 block at 1.5. And then we lost the 3 other golfers. We lost Oberg, Bryson DeChambeau, and Rory McIlroy. So the winning bet for Scotty Scheffler at plus 500 was $64.50. So that's how much we won with Scotty Scheffler winning the PGA Championship. You know how much the collective 5 bets that we lost added up to?
Same.
$12.90 times 5 equals $64.50. So we completely broke even on the weekend, thanks to Scotty Scheffler. So we're still sitting at minus $91.36 heading into tonight, and we got the Giants money line over the Royals at minus 132 currently. Those are your BetMGM Network top plays for the weekend and tonight. All right, let's give you your Desert Diamond Casino replay right now. Brought to you by Desert Diamond Casino Sportsbook. It is Arizona's best bet. In case you missed it, Devin Nett's final game as the Arizona Wildcats senior lost in her finale to Ole Miss. Here's what she said after the game about her time here at Arizona.
I'd just like to say thank you to Kate and Coach Kendria for taking a chance on a girl who just wanted to play at the highest level and who also wanted to just win a national championship and just who loved the game. And I can remember the moment that I stepped on campus that it was just everything that I wanted. And I remember sitting in my math class in high school, emailing them saying, you know what, I want to win a national championship with you guys. And when I got that email back, I was so excited. I knew I was going to commit here. And gosh, I couldn't have picked a better school. Couldn't have picked a better coaching staff. But gosh, I'm so grateful for the people that have surrounded me, the people who supported me, everyone behind the scenes. But gosh, I can't help but think that we're leaving this uniform better than we found it. And not only as a player, but also as a person. It's just one of the biggest things that I strive to do is just to leave each place better than I found it. And honestly, I can't think of a better group than to leave this uniform with and pass it on to our seniors this next year. But quite honestly, thank you for taking a chance on me.
That was Devin Nats, your Desert Diamond Casino replay, brought to you by Desert Diamond Casino Sportsbook. It is Arizona's best bet. So the Super Regionals are set. Liberty against Oregon, Alabama against Oklahoma, Georgia against Florida, Texas Tech against Florida State, Clemson against Texas, Nebraska versus Tennessee, UCLA, and South Carolina. And the final one will be Mississippi at Arkansas.
So anybody but the Bruins, right?
Yeah, exactly. Well, anybody but the Bruins and the SEC. I'm rooting for Liberty. And that's I have Liberty Flames in my family.
I honestly wouldn't even mind to see Oklahoma with a 5P just because they're like, that would be their 6th, right? And UCLA has like 14. I think they have enough. I think UCLA has enough.
There you go. So Ole Miss is in, and one of the reasons they're in is at the hands of one of the legends of Arizona softball, Nancy Evans. She was a part of 6 of the 8 national championships 4 as a player, 2 as a head coach. She's the pitching coach now for the Ole Miss Rebels. And Jamie Traskell and her ladies talked about this weekend what Nancy Evans means to them.
Did you get a sense that Nancy was any more jacked up for this game today?
I'm sure there's a personal pride in today. You're always proud of where you come from, but it also makes it more personal too when you come back. And you never want to lose to where you come from. There's always that kind of one-up piece. But she, there's so many emotions, I'm sure, for her to be here that I think if she had a choice, she would say, gosh, it's easier to kind of not be here, because of some of the distractions and all that, just to be able to focus on our team. And I think she's done a really good job with that, just trying to stay focused as much as she can with some of the attention and just people that haven't seen her for a long time wanting to, check in and pay their respects to her.
And to the players, just what does it mean for you guys to come in here and see her name up on the wall?
I think it's amazing. When I first met Nancy, you could just see the fire and the grit that she has, and knowing that, her name is on the wall, and it kind of shows like where it comes from, and also how much pride she has. Like you can really tell she loves what she does. So being here is also kind of like a prideful moment. We want to do right by her, and I stand by that.
I love Nancy so much. I feel like I have a close bond with her, and just her number on the wall, I look up to her. She's like a role model to me. I love learning from her each and every day.
Aaliyah, just to follow on that, obviously you struggled in the circle a little bit in that game one, kind of to the side of the dugout, and you guys had a conversation. What is she teaching you in those moments to kind of go through what's happening and be ready to be better the next time out?
Something I kind of struggled with was just not communicating how I was feeling. So in those moments, when we went back there, we really just talked about like what was working, what wasn't working, what are they hitting, what are they not hitting, and just trying to dial me back into understanding like I still have a job to do despite the score and what's happening on the field. I still have to sit there and pitch, and we really just stayed around that.
There you go. The Rebels talking about Nancy Evans, Arizona Hall of Famer, Arizona Sports Hall of Famer. Now they're pitching coach, and so best of luck to them. I used to live down that area down in Memphis, and so had a chance to speak once down at Ole Miss, and so maybe I might root for them a little bit.
Hey, come on, zero College World Series appearances in that program's history.
Yeah.
Why not root for that?
Why not root for Ole Miss?
We do have a tiny bit of breaking news, DK.
Okay, yes.
About an hour ago, the official AZ Athletics on Twitter account posted, quote, "The best logo in college sports is back."
Oh, yes, I saw that.
So, listeners, if you didn't hear, they're going to be putting the Cactus logo back on the McHale court, on the Luton Bobby Olson court, and there are 4 options you can go and vote for, 4 different designs. Cactus logo coming back. Salim hitting from the Cactus logo is a lot of people's favorite memory.
All right, we will maybe dive into that and a little bit later, and maybe we'll do a question of the day and see which of those 4 the people like the most. Like to thank Derek Palmer for joining us today, as well as you for listening. For JW Madden, for Cricket, for Dragon Ball, my name is David Kelly. That's our time for tonight. Thank you very much for your time. We'll talk to you tomorrow. DK on the Sports Tip, 3 o'clock, right here on Wildcats Radio, 1290.
From the Auto Nation Honda and BMW of Tucson Traffic Center, it's Wildcats Radio 1290 Traffic and Weather together. Tanque Verde and Bear Canyon collision clearing. Repairs to the Diamondback Snake Bridge continue. The bridge spans over Broadway between Barraza Aviation Parkway and Euclid. 2 lanes of travel maintained in each direction and lane restrictions in place. 61 the low, 94 tomorrow, and 84 now. I'm Cricket with your Wildcats Radio 1290 Traffic and Weather together.
This report is sponsored by Wendy's new Frosty flavors. If you love Wendy's classic chocolate and vanilla Frosty flavors, they have some big news for you. They're announcing all new Frosty Swirl and Frosty Fusion flavors. So it's the same creamy treat you've always loved, now with a flavor refresh. A refresh on a classic? Gotta be Wendy's. At participating U.S. Wendy's.
Don't miss out on any of the action as the University of Arizona takes on the Big 12 Conference.
Bradley for 3. Jaden Bradley has come alive in the second half.
You're listening to the flagship home of Arizona Wildcats athletics. Wildcats Radio 1290.
My heat and air were in a state of disrepair.
I don't have to tell you it's hot. Hi, this is Ron from Picture Rocks Cooling, Heating, and Plumbing.
Make sure your home is cool and comfortable all summer long. Routine maintenance can often prevent major breakdowns. Call us before the first sign of trouble. Call today, 520-492-0748 or pictureoxcooling.com.
Picture Rocks Cooling, Heating and Plumbing.
Sponsored by Progressive Insurance. Progressive can help you protect your home, auto, boat, motorcycle, ATV, and RV, and more. And if something wasn't mentioned that you had in mind, find out if it can be covered at progressive.com or 1-800-PROGRESSIVE, because it probably can be.
Here at the Almond Joy Factory, where tropical vibes abound, we use soft, fresh-tasting coconut.
The crunchiest almonds and delicious chocolate candy.
Ah, but do you know what our most important ingredient is? Sometimes you feel like a nut.
Sometimes you don't.
Almond Joy's got nuts and something even way better than that. Yes, Almond Joy is made with almonds and joy.
You need parts? We got parts. Product availability? Just one part that makes O'Reilly stand apart. Get one free set of brake pads when you buy 2 brake rotors. Upgrade to Brake Best Select brake pads for $10 more, or upgrade to Brake Best Select Pro or import direct pads for just $20. Offer in-store only. Restrictions apply. See store for details.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
This is the story of the one. As a safety manager at a manufacturing plant, he does everything he can to keep his coworkers safe. From finding ways to reduce risks to keeping safety supplies in stock. And for that, he relies on Grainger. Grainger offers a broad range of quality products and next-day delivery, so he can always play it safe. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Find what you love, love what you find. A Total Wine and More. There's so much waiting for you. Spirits and beer, thousands of wines. Guides in the know and prices so low, it just might blow your mind. You're gonna find what you love and love what you find.
With curbside pickup and delivery available, you'll always find what you love, only at Total Wine & More.
Drink responsibly, B21.
Arizona baseball is on the hunt for a Big 12 championship.
Up the middle, that'll go through for a base hit. White scores, Guzman around third. He is headed home.
Catch all the action with Brian Jeffries right here on Wildcats Radio, 1290.
So hot. Hi, can I help you? Good afternoon. We're with Goodfellas AC Rapid Response Team. But I didn't call yet.
That's how fast we are, man.
Just as I thought. This AC is out.
No, we're not gonna lose it. Come on. Come on. Don't you die on me.
Johnson, get a hold of yourself. Sorry, we take this very seriously.
Wow, you fellas are good.
It's not just a name, ma'am.
It's who we are kind of thing.
Good service, good prices, Goodfellas. GoodfellasAC.com.
KCUB Tucson, a Cumulus Media station. What does it take to work for Arizona Athletics?
Whenever we hire anyone, we talk about high, low, high. High character, low ego, high outcome and energy.
We are your home for U of A sports. Wildcats Radio, 1290.